Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Every VGC Player as an NBA Player. This is part two, and if you missed part one, you can find it on YouTube. Actually, I have it pulled up. You can find it on YouTube. But in this little show that we did, we started comparing every single VGC player to an NBA player, and it turns out there are a lot of VGC players and a lot of NBA players. So we did not get through all of them, and so now we're here with the rest of them. And of course, I'm joined by my two friends and the biggest NBA fans I know. I'm joined by Raghav. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Still wild that I'm the biggest NBA fan, because I feel like super insecure. Although I do really, really love basketball.
I guess the people that I maybe talk to the most about basketball are definitely the people in this call. So I'll give you that at the very least. And then of course I'm also joined by Michael Eternal Snowman. How you doing?
Good. I'm excited for the NBA season to start. Preseason started. We're kind of getting an idea of how the teams are going. So I've been keeping some tabs on it. I haven't been watching too much, but
You see
only
the
like
Warriors
less than a
record though?
month. What is their record right now?
I
They're
think we're
3-0
undefeated.
right
Oh,
now.
okay. I've been watching I've been watching Jalen Hardy, the new Maverick superstar, tear it up.
Of
You guys
course,
have
right?
lost every game.
We lost every. Well, Luka Doncic hasn't played yet, so that's part of it.
Also 4-0, Michael. Just
All
letting
right.
you
Oh,
know.
4-0, 4-0. My bad.
We've just been shooting a lot of threes. I don't think it's gonna last, but it's been absurd.
I mean, it's also the preseason. It's always just to get some gauge of
Yeah,
how
not only is it
how players.
preseason, even if this was the real season, I don't really believe in us.
Dude,
uh,
I was talking to Pranav the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, the Warriors can definitely win the championship this year." And I was just like, "What are you smoking, man?"
Well, of course we can and we will, but like how likely? It's gonna look tough, dude. I don't know. I'm
the
I'm
West
not
is
sure.
the West is real competitive. It's crazy. There's like I think 13 teams that think that they can make the playoffs and like be competitive in the West. Like it's gonna be hard.
I mean, we
Uh,
have Steph Curry.
it's a Curry, but we got Klay Thompson, so I don't know. Who I think went
Yeah,
like
that's
0
true.
for 8 in the last preseason game. So we'll see how that goes. It's okay. When Luka
I feel like
Doncic,
we did improve with Buddy Hield.
yeah, no, that's probably true. Honestly, Clay. I mean, at least in the preseason, he has not looked all that good. But I'm really hoping Luka passing him the ball is going to make him look a little better.
Me too, honestly.
All right, we got someone saying the Pistons are going to win it all. That's an ambitious take. I'd love to see it.
Cade MVP season.
True, it's coming. Maybe not this year, but maybe eventually. Uh, but
I don't know if the Pistons will ever win it all with how their front office looks.
yeah, that's kind of the biggest detriment. They don't really have a vision for their team. Is the big problem. It feels like. I watch Kofi from Secret Base, and he loves talking about how incompetent the Pistons are. So I've learned way more about the Pistons than I ever thought I would from him.
Hell yeah.
All right.
That's a
So
good.
what's up?
Sorry, we should start.
we can start. Let me give you a quick rundown of what happened last time. So last time the main ones that I want to talk about. We talked about all the world champions. Starting with Ray Rizzo, who we compared to Bill Russell. We also compared to Michael Jordan. I think those are the two like really good comps for him. But and then the other player that I really wanted to recap was Wolf, who we compared to LeBron and Kareem and Michael Jordan. I really like the Michael Jordan comp personally, but in terms of the longevity, he's definitely got he's a lot like Kareem and LeBron in that sense. And so I think that we mentioned that the VGC, Wolf is the biggest name in VGC. He's the face of VGC, and a lot of the players we're going to be talking about today are have storylines in their careers that are related to Wolf's career. Just because he's been playing for so long, and he's played so many good players, and so we're gonna be comparing some VGC players to NBA players, but I think that a lot of it is going to go to how do these players compare to Michael Jordan and LeBron James in the context of their careers, because they also were so centralizing to the NBA. So many players didn't win a championship because they had to compete with Michael Jordan over and over again, or so many players had their careers kind of made by working with LeBron James, playing with LeBron James, or playing against LeBron James and winning against LeBron James. And so that's some of the storylines that we're going to be looking out for that needed some context, I think, from the part one of the stream. Anything to add?
Yeah. I just wanted to say that, like, since Ali's a nerd, it's very organized and we have, like, legit metrics. But at the end of the day, we are comparing Pokemon players to basketball players. So some of it's just, like, vibes.
Hmm. Absolutely. And yeah, like all the thing is like winning an NBA championship is not really the same as winning a world championship. A world championship is there's only one person who wins a world championship every year. There's 15 players who win an NBA championship every year. So maybe more than that now. And so yeah, it's not quite the same. I personally am looking at winning a world championship more like winning an MVP. But that's gonna also again be there's gonna be MVPs that haven't won worlds in this, or at least for my comparisons. But yeah, it's all vibes based. It's all kind of arbitrary. There's some funny ones. There's some other ones. But yeah, let's Is there anything else that we did last time that we wanted to talk about? I guess I'm trying not to do duplicates for these, but I know that we also all have different opinions, and it's been a lot of fun. So definitely watch part 1 if you missed it.
Yeah, check it out on Audio's YouTube channel.
Yeah. All right. And so with that, I'm gonna hop over to the last one that we did. The last player that we got to, the last couple players that we got to were the Europeans in top. This is gonna start out with a very European centric start to the stream because we got through a lot of the top NA players after getting through the World Champions, but we haven't gotten through all the top EU players except for the ones in tub. So for MDB, Michael Kelsch, I think we compared him to Luka Doncic and Victor Wembanyama. And for Torviv and for Roxon, we compared them to the Gasol brothers because they are Spanish and they're not actually brothers, but they might as well be. They are just inseparable. They are joined at the hip. So I compared them to those two. And then we're going to get to our first new player that we haven't talked about quite yet. We have Nils Dunlop, one of the greatest European players of all time. He has 2 different top 8 World Championship performances in 2017 and 2018, back-to-back top 8 worlds. Did he get top 4 one of those years? I forget.
I think he got top 4 in 2018.
Okay, yeah, top 4. He lost to Paul Ruiz in the semifinals. I remember that. And then we won EUIC a couple years ago. He won 2 regionals, and notably, he is a Swedish American, just like me. He was playing for Team Sweden in the World Cup, and then switched over to Team USA. And now he plays for Team USA. So if you go on Victory Road, you'll see a USA flag next to his name for all of his accomplishments, and we really do claim him as a great American player. So does anyone have a good comparison for Nils Dunlop?
Real quick, can you hear the music in the background?
No, I cannot.
No.
Oh, thank God. Okay. I live next to a frat, and they're like playing fucking annoying ass music. This is a good one. I came so prepared.
We're starting you off with hard ones. The softballs were taken last time.
I feel like his 2017-18 run, and also in 2019, he did pretty well, actually, I think. And then he just won. He's like so good. I think he's legit one of the best players ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he won EUIC just like earlier this year, I guess. Like,
yep. He's the reigning EUIC champion. Yeah.
Who do you have, Ali?
Who do I have? Yeah, good question. I have him as Joel Embiid. Because first off, he's also massive. He's huge. He's super tall. And also on top of that, just like Nils switched from Sweden to Team USA for the World Cup, Joel Embiid had actually got French citizenship to play for Team France, and then realized that actually Team France has this Rudy Gobert guy and this Victor Wembanyama guy, and they're getting some more talent at the center position coming in this next year. And so he decided actually Team USA really just center. And of course, with the Olympics in France, he got booed every single time because he switched over to Team USA. And so I like this comparison because I think that they are comparable in terms of talent, they are comparable in terms of stature, and they are comparable in terms of their allegiances for nationality.
But not accomplishments.
Not accomplishments,
Embiid's
but
fraud.
Embiid, yeah. Well, I don't know. He's got MVP, right? He's kind of up there.
That's
yeah, but
true.
he's a playoff choker.
He's a little bit of a playoff choker.
Yeah, but Nils is not. Nils is elite. He's like he's like David Robinson, bro.
Let me give you another pitch.
David Robinson is a good one.
Ooh, okay. David Robinson. I'll let you do that, but let me give you one more pitch for why he is Joel Embiid. And that is if you look at the sort of the talent in about American players right now, a lot of the best American players in VGC, they are old heads. It's namely like Wolf is like the great American player, and a lot of the best young talent in VGC right now, it's all Europeans. We're looking at players like MDB, like Marco Fierro, like Aurelien, players like that. There isn't any like real.
Like Marco's been around forever,
but he's a child. And
yeah,
we'll get to Marco too. But yeah, it's like we look. I mean, like Siri, who just won Worlds, right? And so Europe has really taken the limelight with this younger generation. And so. And that's kind of happened in the NBA as well. The greatest American superstars, it's LeBron James right now, it's Steph Curry right now still, but a lot of the best young talent in the league, be it Luka Doncic or Nikola Jokic. I guess he isn't young anymore. Neither is Giannis, neither is who am I forgetting? There's one more young European guy. You know what I mean? All the best like young talent in the league right now, it feels like they're coming from Europe. Except for the one MVP candidate is Joel Embiid, who is not European. He's American, just like Nils Dunlop is the one young VGC player who is potentially going to win the world championships, but is also an American player. And so I think that was also another reason to compare the two.
I actually think you have like a really compelling argument. I just feel like that Nils' like Worlds finishes put him a little like higher all time for me.
Okay, so let's
Yeah,
hear
also,
this is a really good comparison for the reasons you said.
the reasons you said I agree with, but I can't in good faith compare someone to Joel Embiid, because like I feel comparing someone to Joel Embiid is like a negative thing, like I don't know.
I mean,
Dude,
I might just be an Embiid hater.
I think
That
you're
might
an
just be
Embiid
me.
hater. He's still one of the 5 best players in the league right now. Like.
Oh, I don't know.
If you're not an Embiid hater, are you watching basketball, bro?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I mean, you were also a Rudy Gobert hater when I compared you to Rudy Gobert, so.
Oh, that's not true. Come on, Rudy Gobert is fine. Like he's
No, I dislike him.
He's
good at defense for sure. He's good at basketball.
Right. I think Gobert is like Gobert is just overhated. He's not as good as Embiid for sure, but like he is overhated for like how good he is. He's just like he's a good player but not great. But then like people
I
talk
think he's a
about him
great
like he's
player. I just hate him.
Trash.
All right. So I guess y'all have had some time to think. Did you have a different Nils Dunlop comparison? I know someone mentioned David Robinson.
Yeah, I was just going with David Robinson for vibes and accolades, but I am kind of liking the Embiid storylines you've got going on. I also think Nils had like very like aggressive teams like in the years he did well, where they were like big stat sticks, but they were like belly drum Snorlax or like Ursaluna with guts. Like I don't know. So someone who's like pretty dominant, and like I feel like D-Rob's kind of dominant.
Yeah,
same kind of vibe.
Also, yeah, in terms of like their character, right? Joel Embiid is a very outgoing person. Nils Dunlop is more of an introvert. You don't hear him. You don't hear him talking very much. He's not very active on social media, and that definitely gives me more of the David Robinson vibe as well.
Dude, I actually met him at NAIC, and he was super fun. Like,
wait, you met David Robinson?
That's crazy.
No, dude, we've been homies a long time. I met Nils. But yeah, no, he was super outgoing actually. But like, you're not wrong. Like, he's not on Twitter or anything, but he's a chill dude.
Yeah, we were teammates on Team Sweden. He did not post very much in Team Sweden. I'll say that. But
okay.
I didn't get to know him very well. I'll be honest. All right, Michael, do you have anything to add?
I don't think I have anything to add. Yeah, not much to add here.
All right. Yeah, let's move on. So next up, we got another EUIC champion, another one of the greatest Europeans of all time. We've got Eric Rios, who is not only EUIC champion, he's got 2 World's Top Cuts, best finish being a top 8 finish in 2019. And he also is a 2-time regional champion. I couldn't tell you which regionals he won. He won one of them with Rinya's son, and then I don't remember the other one.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2-time regional champion, 2-time World's Top Cut, and EUIC champion. One of the greatest Spanish players of all time. Who we got?
I have someone. I'm just like, it's on the tip of my tongue.
I mean, I have an idea, but I don't know if whatever. I'll just say it. I think I'll say Karl Malone.
Oh no.
Or John Stockton. Like I feel like Rios and Gomez, they're kind of like a
Mhm.
pairing. They have a lot of history together, and they always work together for the same teams. The same reasoning like Karl Malone and Stockton, like they're kind of played basically their entire careers together. Um, and yeah, I'll let the viewers to do some other stuff for themselves as well, which I'm not going to mention, but
Yes, I'm starting this stream off as a hater. Okay, I see how it is.
That's crazy.
uh,
Low-key, Karl Malone's not bad just in terms of like consistency, and I guess he did win UIC. But like otherwise, it feels like he's not winning. He's always getting like second or like top four.
yeah, I mean, the very successful players throughout their careers, and was always like near the top or at the top for a long time. Like longevity wise, they were like the Jazz during those 90s eras were like one of the best teams consistently throughout for like over 10 years basically. And they just fell short just at the end. But yeah.
because they had to
Oh wait, I
kept
think
losing
Nils
to
is
Michael
Dwight
Jordan.
Howard.
Dwight. Oh wait, that's a good one. All right.
I
Well,
just realized.
well, I like the Dwight Howard comp too. Again, it's like a little awkward because they don't have the same personality at all. But he definitely is like definitely tall, definitely very dominant. Actually, I'm not really seeing it beyond that. Can you explain that one?
Well, I just feel like Dwight Howard, like at his peak, was just nuts, and it was very short though. I feel
Mhm.
because then he got traded, right? Um, but then he still continued. I mean, he got a ring with the 2020 Lakers, right? Like I don't
Mhm.
know. He still continued to be good.
He was
That was
good
it.
like from 2008 basically to like 2015. Like those years where he was on the Rockets, he was still quite good. And then like after he got traded to after that he got like was really injury prone. So that's when he started really falling off.
Sorry, that
But
was just an intrusive thought.
All right. So my thought for Eric Rios, and of course Alex Gomez in the same kind of thought is so. Actually, I guess I'll pull this one up too. They are best known for their top 8 team. They used a rain team, and so we called this team Spain Rain, because both of them got top 8 at the same Worlds with this team. And so I have him as Steph Curry as one half of the Splash Brothers. And you can guess who Klay Thompson's going to be. But yeah, because they're just like Eric Rios and Alex Gomez, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, sort of inseparable. Of course, have been separated. And and also,
That's so good.
also, the Spain Rain is just like the Splash Bros. It's kind of the same vibe in terms of the nickname. Same like dominance in his when he was dominant. I mean, when he won a regional with Rinya Sun and then immediately followed up with winning EUIC with Rinya Sun. That is a pretty high peak. That reminds me a lot of, obviously it's a much shorter time period, but that's kind of the same peak that Steph hit with his 2016 2017 era. So I like that comparison as well.
Okay, yeah, that part's pretty true. I'm having a tough time because like I like that it's thematic, but the skill gap between Steph and Clay is like way bigger than the skill gap between like Eric and Alex, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Alex is like also just one of the best players ever. Um,
Oh, I
so
actually have
that's
his
what's making it hard for me to have a different comp.
Sure. Well, I'm also. I guess I could pull up Alex Gomez. I've already kind of spoiled mine. Being Klay Thompson. He is also an international champion, winning NAIC. He also won a national championship way back in the day. He also has 2 World Stop cuts. I don't think he has any regional wins off the top. I don't. When I looked it up. But
Oh, I
yes.
feel like he does. Maybe second places.
I thought Hirofumi was Steph. I think we've had a few different comparisons. I know I can't remember who I compared Hirofumi to. Um, but but yeah, I think he might have been compared to Steph at some point too. Actually, Hirofumi also has a crazy Hirofumi's streak in 2019 is actually also reminiscent of Steph Curry's. Actually, that's a really good comparison for Hirofumi, because Hirofumi also had like the single craziest season of all time, only to lose in the finals. That's insane. That's a great comparison.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we did it, bro.
All right. Well, I really leaned into the Splash Brothers part of it personally for the Alex Gomez, Eric Rios comparison. But I'm curious if y'all had a different comparison. Or if you still like the Karl Malone, John Stockton brotherhood.
I think he's James Harden, bro.
You think Alex Gomez is James Harden?
No, sorry. I think Alex Gomez is Kevin Durant, and then Eric Rios is James Harden.
Okay.
Or one of them's Westbrook. There's the OKC, like, you know what I'm saying? The split.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
Split? Well, I don't know. When they were together, like they
made the finals.
weren't. Well, like James Harden was not that guy, like at that time.
I don't think we knew Eric to be that guy yet either.
That's true. He actually did not have some crazy accomplishments until that 2019 season. I guess I think he had won a regional before that, but I'm not sure.
We knew he was really, really good, but not like the level he became, where Alex was already one of the best players.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Alex had already won a national championship, already had top cut a bunch of regionals. But yeah, I do kind of see the comparison there.
I also think Alex Gomez has he's got like drip and like swag, you know? So I was thinking like he could be the Paul George, he could be the Shea, but I'm not sure. I feel like in the context of him and Eric, you know, storylines, he can't be one of those guys. But if he was just his own player, I think he could be like Paul George. Don't do well at Worlds always.
That's true. Okay, we compared a couple different players. With Kevin Durant, I feel like being petty on Twitter is like such a big part of Kevin Durant.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I can't not have that in the Kevin Durant comparison.
Okay.
I don't think that Eric or Alex are really don't have the type of social media presence, right? They don't seem very insecure about themselves. I don't know if they are, but that's not the vibe that I get.
Earlier this year, there was some Twitter drama. Eric was replying.
No need to bring stuff up. Alex is my homie.
Yeah. All right. So with that, I guess we can move on to the next player, next European. We got Cassy. Another Spaniard. This time, he got second place at the World Championships in 2022. I think he top cut Worlds back in 2010 as well. He's a two-time national champion all the way back in 2011 and 2012. And then my understanding is that he has been banned twice. He got banned once for, I want to say, punching a chair or something like that. And then got banned for 6 months and then got unbanned and went on to make Worlds and then got banned again for, I think, destruction of property at a event as well. He released a Twitter thing that was, in Spanish, so I didn't fully understand it. But yeah, he's been banned twice, which is something that not a lot of players can say. Maybe has some issues he's got to work out, I'd say. But who's got a good Cassy comparison?
Maybe like Inez Cantor. No, I'm kidding.
Rocker test.
No, dude, he's like John Stockton or Carl Malone for sure. Like,
holy.
I don't know.
Wait.
He's gotta be a little like crazy white dude, you know?
Draymond Green.
I literally just I shouldn't say what I just Googled, but I'm trying to find like a good NBA player to compare.
He's the Draymond Green to the Splash Bros. That's so good.
That's actually pretty funny.
No way, man.
I mean, one thing to consider is that he's been playing Pokemon for a long, long time. Like, his best finish was, like, before he got second at Worlds, was, like, from 2004 or some shit. Obviously not, but, like really, really old, like 2010 or something. And then he just came back in that Sword and Shield era. I think he won a regional, and then, yeah, he got second at Worlds. It was pretty nuts.
Mm-hmm. And then he got banned again.
Yeah.
Okay, I got my comparison, and it's similar vibe. Someone said John Stockton already. I had John Morant, who also has just like got got suspended for pulling a gun out at a strip club, and then later got suspended again for like the same shit. Just like this same sort of vibes, just like a player who is immensely talented and just like has some issues that he's really got to work out. Different types of issues, but definitely some issues that probably should focus on figuring that out before coming back to the game.
Yep, that's fair.
Low key, I feel like I'm more forgiving to Ja, and I'm more excited to watch Ja play basketball.
So I think that's because Ja is like 22 or something like that. Like a little more forgiving of children making mistakes than like 30-something-year-old men making mistakes. At least that's the. I don't know how.
I mean, I also feel like if Ja was like, if he was doing that shit, but like was also playing VGC, I feel like I would be looking at him in a similar way. I don't know. Like It's definitely just because like he's more of a TV personality than
I'm just gonna pick a random player from like Boston Celtics in the 60s.
Yeah.
I think that'll be good. Maybe 50s if possible.
Who you got? Random.
Oh, I'm random white dude on the Celtics from the 60s.
Random white dude, Celtics, 60s. I wonder if I'm gonna get something from that. Oh yeah, we got John Havlicek. We got Bob Cousy.
Bob Cousy.
Bob Cousy, let's go.
Loki Cassidy's better at Pokemon than Bob Cousy.
All right. Let's keep going.
No, I think John Stockton's the one for me personally.
I like the John Stockton comp too. I definitely see it. Speaking of banned players, we've also got we got John Evans, who was you might know him for losing to Wolf Glick in the World's Finals. You also might know him for winning Players Cup 3. Also for other things that he did. He also got banned. He got banned after Players Cup 3. But no, I don't really want to go into details about the situation. It's all on Twitter if you want to go look it up. But yeah, most notably known for sticking his middle finger up on stream and getting stream banned for a long time in the 2016 Worlds where he was the runner-up. Which kind of crazy that someone got DQ'd from Worlds for doing the dice motion when John could keep playing after sticking his middle finger on stream. In hindsight, Pokemon's really cleaned up their act. Anyone got a good John Evans comparison?
It's tough, dude, because we used to be friends, and now I do not speak to the guy.
Same.
Yeah, so it's a bit tricky, but I definitely think that I did see what you put, and I think it's funny because of the Jordan storyline as well.
Okay, yeah, I'll pull it up. I got him as Karl Malone. Who also did some problematic stuff in his career. John hopefully did nothing nearly as bad as that, but that's not the reason for the comparison. The reason for the comparison is because Karl Malone never won a championship, and he's best known for losing to Jordan over and over and over again in the NBA Finals, which is a lot like losing to Wolf in the most watched game of all time. He also led the league in technical fouls, which is a lot like John Evans, just continuously doing stupid shit and getting on a shit list for it. But yeah, the fact that he's best known for losing to Wolf is a lot like Karl Malone, best known losing to Jordan. So I like that comparison as well.
And they almost played again at NAIC in 2019 with my Ray Ogre Mimikyu team, but then he lost in top 4. But if he had won, he would have played Wolf in the finals. It would have been a rematch. But in classic, fashion, he lost before making it to finals.
Yeah, and we have to deal with Amity, who making finals, who we do not have on this list.
That's still so nuts. What a shame.
All right, let's keep going. Unless Michael, unless you have something to add there. All right.
Nope.
I like that comparison a lot. Now back to your regularly scheduled Europeans. We got Marcus Stadter, who is got top 4 at Worlds in 2016. Using, of course, the same team as Wolf, notably sledge bombing himself in the game against Wolf. He is a 2-time national champion and a 2-time regional champion. Still plays the game. Just won was it Stuttgart regionals a couple years ago with the Iron Jugulus team? I forget exactly which regional that was, but yeah, winning a regional.
Oh, that one.
He's won a couple regionals a long ways apart. Who do we think Marcus Stadter is? One of the greatest German players
Scottie
of all time.
Pippen.
I guess
Scottie Pippen.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. Because Marcus, incredible player in his own right? Just in terms of his own accomplishments. In the same way that Scottie Pippen is like was an NBA All-Star and could have been the star of his own team if he wanted to, but made the decisions and kind of stuck around and now has followed into best known as like a sidekick role. And it's maybe the best known sidekick of all time, just like Marcus is probably the best known sidekick in VGC, despite having so much more accomplishments than what that role should entail.
I think he's one of the best players ever.
We gotta wait for the Marcus Wolf fallout, like Scotty and Michael in 20 years.
I want the expose. I want to know everything that happened. One day we'll hear all about what happened in 2016 Worlds.
I mean, we saw it on stream. That's literally all there is to it.
Well, we got to hear what happened in the back, bro, backstage.
You think they flipped a coin, or you think they just like Wolf paid him?
No,
or do you think they're just
I think he was always
cool?
throwing.
You think he was just like, yeah, it's chill, like you got this. I don't know. I want to know the story.
That's fair. But shit, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, just that like Scottie Pippen was really, really, really good. Like, even like when Jordan was gone for those baseball years, like the Bulls were doing pretty good, right? Like
they were a 55-win team in the East, which was a very tough conference during those years, which so it was very impressive. So like,
didn't Scottie finish high in MVP voting too?
Yeah, I think he finished top 5 in MVP. I want to say it was 4th, but don't quote me on the exact number. I think like it kind of proved that if Scottie was like, it was in his prime, but like if he was the leader of his own team, he probably would have been a great player, but just not like remembered as like an all-time player. Like he would just been like, one of those like players that we really respect in his era, but like, being a second or like being part of one of the best teams of all time, like he's been kind of solidified in the history books as like the greatest Robin, if you will.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%, and I think this is a great comp.
He was 3rd in MVP voting in that year. He had 3 straight all first NBA teams as well.
Mm-hmm.
He was 2nd in the NBA in steals per game that year, and won the All-Star Game MVP that year as well. So very, very accomplished player, and kind of chose to defer instead of So, all right, cool. We got that. We got the comp. I think we all agreed on that one. Now we got Jamie Boyt, who is a 3-time regional champion. He got top 16 at the World Championships I think he's caught 2 Worlds, top 16 at the World Championships in 2019, and then I think he caught 2016 Worlds as well, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
You probably know him for his nowadays for his personality on YouTube, as well as being one of the commentators on the European side of things. And he's also best known for using weird mons. He won one of those regionals with Ugarte, for example. He's best known for using Superior. I believe he won a regional with that as well. So he loves using weird stuff. Anyone got a good Jamie Boyt comparison?
I think he could be the OG Sabonis. What's his name? Arvidas
Sabonis.
Yeah, I think it could be him just because like the play style's there, European. And if we kind of like merge his, European success and say like, oh yeah, he peaked when it was like, I don't know, I guess 2016 era. Although he's been pretty good recently too. Sorry, there's an ambulance outside.
Yeah,
I feel like I could see the Sabonis.
I was gonna go more for like, maybe like a Jason Williams, maybe, white chocolate.
I did also think of J. Will, but
yeah, just because like he's really off the wall in terms of the play style. Like, it's not like, or like I guess a team choice more than anything. But like he's not like anyone else you would see, like when you like look at teams. Like he just like goes all in on like the gimmicks or whatever, the less used mons or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I think that the problem is I think he's better than Jason Williams ever was. I think
that's fair.
True too.
And I think like Sabonis, I don't know. I think Jamie like is accomplished. Sabonis is was accomplished, but was limited by the fact that he was in the Soviet Union, couldn't play in the NBA, and so we never really got to see his full heights. Whereas Jamie, we did get to see his full heights. We got to see exactly how good he was in the peak of his career, and yeah, I don't know. It's just like that. I'm not a huge fan of that comparison. I also don't know if Sabonis was like an especially weird player. You know?
Yeah, no, I think I'm misremembering. I thought he was like a weird, like. But now I'm thinking maybe it's just because I think Sabonis is a good passer, like DeMontis.
No, he was known as a good passer back in the day as well. But like,
Okay.
it's just that we only came like, I mean, that was not traditional at the time. Obviously I didn't watch basketball back in the 70s, so I don't really know. But I think like the big thing with Sabonis is always that he came into the league like past his prime, so it's kind of like a big what if story for
Yeah.
how good he could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not quite there. It's just hard to find like a playstyle translation, just because I do think Jamie Boyd's objectively the weirdest player of all time and most successful.
I got mine. I got Russell Westbrook. Because Russell Westbrook was also an absolutely incredible player in his prime. Also had a very, very unique play style. And
That's true.
And also, I think Russell Westbrook kind of stuck to that, or has been sticking to that play style, kind of to a fault, right? Because now we're all sad because he has this weird way of playing, but it doesn't work anymore. But he keeps trying to make it work, and it's just like, okay, man, we know we know you don't like Incineroar. You can stop tweeting about it. But like, I don't know. He's obviously like got this incredible talent, as well, and so and also is similarly, like out there on social media, I guess not on social media, but like out there as a commentator. We hear Russell Westbrook talk a lot as well, and so yeah, I don't know. I feel like Russell Westbrook will start. I think he's a good fit on the Nuggets this year. I think he's gonna. I think we're gonna see him do a lot more winning this year. And I think we're gonna see Boyt do a lot more winning as soon as he becomes a little less quirky and a little more conforming. Or he will, die trying to be 2016 Russell Westbrook. Because those are, I guess, the two options for both of them.
I don't know. I believe in Jamie Boyd, but. No, that's a good comparison. I do like
I like
it.
the
I also do
comparison.
think Russ is going to do well in this year. I feel like he'll be good on the bench. I don't know. I'm hoping.
I think so.
I think that he's going to be interesting this year. I hope he does well because I think he's. I was definitely like a little bit of a Westbrook hater a couple of years ago, but at this point he's definitely like overhated. Some of the memes are a bit too far on Westbrook.
Yeah.
I just think like I loved him so much as a kid. Like he's still one of my favorite players ever.
Russell Westbrook.
It's definitely
or Jamie Boyd.
There's definitely a big divide. He's a divisive player. Like a lot of people do like him, but like a lot of people just like meme on him endlessly.
Yeah. He did like decidedly revolutionize the way that we look at basketball. The fact that like he and especially the Thunder teams that he was the star of after the other guys had left, where he was like the guy getting the rebounds. We were like, he's stat padding, he's getting triple doubles because he's getting like they're helping him get rebounds. But like, no, that was just like everyone does that now.
That's a stupid argument.
Yeah, but like, that's just dumb. That's just dumb.
But like now, you're getting your ball handler, getting the rebounds, getting to fast break faster is like what why the Nuggets are so good. Why Luka Doncic is partially like so good. Like that's a big part of the NBA now. He was just the first to do it, and so
rebounding super important.
He was also he is also like even now that's like his best skill nowadays is like he's one of the best guard rebounders like that we've like ever seen, which is like people don't really talk about that as like a super valued skill, but like it is actually something that it is very valuable. So.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
So with that, we got the next European player. We got Aurelien Soula. I hope I pronounced that right. They got second place at the North American Championships this past year. They have gotten second place at three regionals, including a I think 15-0 performance until they lost in the finals to Nico on snow. But yeah, just a crazy run at that regional. And I think they were undefeated at NAIC as well until they had locked up top cut. And then I don't know if they cared as much or whatever, but they locked up top cut, so they didn't have to keep playing. So just two or a few different a few insane runs in a row. I think they are one of the best players in the world. You know, one of the I think one of the 5 best European players, maybe one of the 3 best European players right now. Who we got?
Victor Wembanyama. This is my Wemby for sure. French, okay?
That's
Also so young. You know, there's still so much to be seen. But like the improvement, like the season we saw in that like second half of Wemby was crazy. And I feel like Aurelien hasn't gotten the like world's finishes just yet. And we're gonna see that with both of them. And that's why I think like I have their bestie as Luca a little bit. And then this works out where the French, you know, get to stay French.
Yeah, that was exactly my take. I know, Michael, you had a different take. You had James Harden when we talked about this like a month ago. You want to back that up?
I was also gonna say another comparison. Like I think it's a little bit too late or too early to say right now. You know, like, going later into his like career, like he's still just getting started, or they're still just getting started. But like Aurelien last year, or yeah, last year, last 2 years, I guess. They've gone second a lot, and so like the Jerry West comparison could be there because Jerry West was a really great player, but was always lost in the finals. And then James Harden also, it's a little bit weaker of a comparison, but you know, really, really great player, but you know, could never finish the job, I guess is the best way to put it. Like especially in those 2017, 2018 seasons where the Rockets had probably the best team, but didn't manage to close it out.
Okay, no, the Warriors were definitely better. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, Game 7,
Dude, we
they
had
were
Kevin Durant.
yeah, but okay. The Warriors were a better talent-wise team, but the Rockets were supposed to win that series if James Harden was a generational choker.
Supposed to who won?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If James Harden wasn't a generational choker, then
Nah, I feel like this is unfair to Aurelien because like
no, we're
this
right.
is
I
like
think
the
it's a
rookie
little bit too
season,
early
you
to
know?
say.
No,
Right,
no,
right,
it's
right.
not even like I wouldn't even count this as a pattern of failure. It's like holy shit, dude, you just made the NBA Finals in your rookie season. That's nuts. Like I think this is Wemby levels of talent. Like we haven't seen this, especially in the modern era where we have like 900 player tournaments. It's nuts. Like it's they're also super creative. I feel like they build really cool teams, and Wemby's kind of like we haven't seen this before. Um, I thought you were gonna say that like Wemby's not proven himself to be as good as Aurelien yet, which I'd be like, true, but like I think we know Wemby's gonna be pretty insane.
No, Wemby's already very good.
Like this comparison works a little better because they are both French, and that's definitely part of it, right? But now
The age thing's there.
they are both incredibly young and very very talented, and I think we're going to see the best of their careers, hopefully, moving forward. But what else was I going to say about Aurelien? I've totally lost the thought, lost the thread. Man, they are well. Yeah, just absolutely so good. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We were talking about players who have the potential to be the greatest of all time. Last time, I mentioned like Hirafubi. I mentioned Naoto was up there. I mentioned MDB, what had the type of potential. And if you had to pick one like current NBA superstar who could, you know, with if everything goes right in their career, they could contest. The LeBron Jordan hierarchy for the greatest of all time. It was MDB, but Michael Derbesti. But I think Aurelien is the other player, and I think that Victor Wembanyama is the other player who, you know, if everything goes right in Victor's career, he could be the greatest of all time, just in terms of raw talent, in terms of how unique he is. It's really going to come down to his longevity and how he develops. But like, yeah, players like Wemby tend not to have the longest careers, right? But if he does, and if he can keep it up into his 30s, he really could be in contention for that. And Aurelien, same. It's been one season, but they have shown that they have the talent. And if they could somehow keep this crazy season up, they could also be the greatest. They could also be the greatest of all time someday.
Right. I mean, okay. I just quick rant on Wemby, like with the longevity thing. Like I don't know. We've never really seen anyone like Wemby before, and this offseason, he did put on like 25 pounds, is what I've heard. So he's at like 235 now. So like he's put on like a total of like 40 pounds since coming into the NBA, which is like, I don't know. Maybe we'll see like a Giannis level transformation because like you um if you remember, like when Giannis first came to the NBA, he was like Wemby's kind of build where he was like tall but like really really skinny, and then he like now he's just like built like a monster. So I don't know. We'll see, I guess, but not related at all to this current conversation. I just want to talk about Wemby.
No, that's true. And
Wemby's
Giannis was, of
awesome.
course, way more raw going into the NBA, just less talented starting out. And Wemby is a monster already. So if he can
Right.
if he can improve like Giannis improved, oh my God, we are in for a heck of a career.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna be quite as big as Giannis, because I think even though Giannis was like really skinny, he was still a little more muscular, I guess, a little stronger. But I don't even think Victor has to be that level. Like I feel like he's so
No,
skilled.
right.
Like he can shoot like crazy good. It's so crazy. Um,
I mean,
no, it's truly nothing I've ever seen.
yeah, Wemby is crazy. Like he's his defense is incredible, and then even if he just becomes an average, like above average offensive player, like he's already just like insane amounts of value. But
I
I
think
mean,
he's
like
gonna be an astronomical offensive player.
And
yeah, I
on top
mean,
of being like one of the defensive player of the year potential, like he was already, I think by the end of last season, he was already one of the 3 best defensive players in the league. Like, whew.
he was the like by advanced metric, he was the best defensive player in the league last year, like towards like the second half of last year, which is just crazy to think about. I think advanced metrics don't accurately track everything, because you know the fact that he was on a worse team meant that his on-off value kind of got amplified, but um, he's already like arguably one of the best defender in the league at the current moment, which is insane.
Yo,
I agree.
Ryan, thank you for the raid. I really appreciate it. Welcome everyone. Welcome for everyone watching Ryan's channel. We first off, if you're check out Ryan. He's a good friend of mine. And I hope you had a good stream. We are today doing part 2 of comparing every VGC player to an NBA player. We did part 1 on my channel a couple weeks ago. At this point, you should check out my YouTube channel if you want to watch that. I guess I have this pulled up still. And so we got to compare a lot of the greatest players of all time, a lot of the world champions and whatnot. And now we are going through the rest of the list of players, the back half of the list of players, including some of the greatest European players right now, like Aurelien Soula, who we compared to Victor Wembanyama. So I hope you guys stick around and enjoy this. If you are a basketball fan, I think this is this is going to be a treat. All right. So with that, I hyped this up. I say we're talking about European players. We actually, I think this is the last European player on my list. By the way, if you want us to talk about a certain NBA player or a certain VGC player, and we haven't gotten to them, if you gift a sub or you subscribe and you recommend and choose a player, we will get to them. We will guarantee. So, but yeah, we can go on to Marco Silva, who has won 2 international championships. He won the 2020 Oceania International Championships, and he won the 2023, I believe, Latin American International Championships. He got top 16 at the World Championships in 2024, and he won a 29-player regional in Sweden in 2019 to 2020, something like that, early that season. I think it was end of 2019. I think it's the smallest regional ever. 29 players. It was smaller than the one Brady won. So
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so that was back in 2019, back in the dark days of VGC. Yeah, I guess anyone have a good comparison for Marco Fiera?
Ooh, I mean, I definitely want to go with a recent modern player. Like, I could see Ant. I could see just like a young star right now. I feel like he's better than Trae Young.
Definitely, no, not even close.
Yeah.
I
feel
was
like he might be
going
better
more
than Ant.
like
Who you got?
sorry, I was going more like maybe like a Hakeem Olajuwon where because he had like such a dominant 2-year stretch, and like I mean in terms of like peaks in the NBA, there hasn't really been or like that was like one of the greatest, peaks by any single player. But I don't know. I don't really have anything beyond that. Also, just like international player, I guess. There's a little bit of that.
Is that 29
That's
player
like
regional
too
the
much,
only
though.
one Marco won? I believe that's the only regional he's won. Yes. He's top cut a bunch, but I think that's the only one he's won.
Yeah, it's kind of like winning a championship when Jordan wasn't in the NBA.
Yeah, I can see that.
I feel like he's not as legendary as Hakeem yet, though. I feel like he's a little too young, and he hasn't won like one Worlds. Like Hakeem is like a Worlds winner almost in my head, back to back,
Sure.
like one of the greatest all time. But I do think that like I see where you're coming from with the high peaks. I just think Marco's still peaking. Like I think he's still going. So
That's true.
he's only gonna get better.
Yeah. I got my comp is LaMelo Ball, who similarly relatively young player. He's already an all-star. Just only going to get better. But despite that, he is still going to be best known for all the shit he did in high school. And just like Marco Fierro is best known for his VGC accomplishments in high school. So that's why I got.
That's kind of funny.
Right. So that's what I got. Also, Marco has a brother who's in juniors or maybe seniors now, who is also very, very good at VGC, and LaMelo also has a couple brothers who are okay at basketball, from what I've heard.
That's true. That's true. I just think that Marco's a little better than LaMelo.
Yeah, LaMelo can't stay healthy. That's I think
Yeah. Also,
he
he's
has
on
a
the
lot of
Hornets,
potential.
bro.
Right. I mean, being on the Hornets is a death sentence. Like being
Maybe like
Cincy.
Brunson. I just feel like he's a young like star right now, and like Brunson was low key going crazy in the playoffs. Like this whole season, I feel like okay, he's the
Not
number
just
one
the playoffs.
option.
Yeah.
Brunson ain't young though.
Yeah.
He's getting old already. He's like 30, right?
What?
No, he's
Is he
not.
No.
not? He's like late 20s.
No,
He's
he's late
28.
20s.
He's
late
28.
20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I
He's-
guess that's true. Damn, that's still pretty young, dude. He's still
played-
got like 4
It's
years.
just because he came into the league as a 4-year college player. So
Sorry, helicopter.
Dude, LA is crazy. There's ambulances, the helicopters, there's frat parties, man. Okay. Any other thoughts about Marco? Did anyone think of a good? There's a lot of young players, but it's like hard to find someone who's a young player who's as accomplished as Marco is. It's hard to find.
Yeah,
It's super
maybe
rare
he's
in the NBA.
Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown.
I can see that.
Yeah, Tatum's younger than Brunson, right? Tatum's 26 or 27, I think.
I think so.
Tatum's like 27. Wait, no. How old is he? 26.
26.
Yeah.
All right.
Jalen's 27.
Jalen's 27. They're in
Yeah,
their primes,
they're-
just like Marco.
Yep.
All right. So with that, I think that is the last European player that I had in the list. If we missed a European player that you wanted to talk about, sound off. The next up, we're going back to the United States, back to Riley Factura, who is a 5-time regional champion. I'm glad I didn't have to change this slide after this weekend. Just coming off of the top 4 finish. I don't think he's won any nationals. He hasn't won any internats, but yeah, he's been playing for a long, long time. Is third in all-time regional championship wins. Yeah, I mean, we could talk a lot about Riley, knowing him personally. California-based player, SoCal player. I believe just moved to Florida recently. Who you got?
Not that recently anymore.
Yeah, I guess it was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He might be like Chris Paul to me, but like
Oh, Chris Paul's a good one, I think.
Chris Paul
I feel
won
like
a
maybe
championship?
Riley wins too much.
Chris Paul doesn't.
Chris
yeah.
Paul has never won.
Chris
yeah,
Paul-
Chris Paul doesn't
No,
win
he's
anything.
never won a
I
championship.
thought
What
so.
are you talking about?
Riley's won 5 regionals. I don't know, like.
Yeah, but it's like
Yeah, but
Chris Paul's had some of the best seasons ever without winning a championship. Riley's never won Worlds. I don't think he's ever done that good at Worlds.
right,
No.
right. I mean, and if you want to equate, 5 regional championships, you could say is like similar to the amount of regular season success that Chris Paul has had, because like in terms of regular season, he's been one of the most winningest players. Like his teams have always been good. Like
He's like the quintessential point guard. And if you look at like any of Riley's matches, he's like the cleanest player. Like he literally doesn't use moves that miss like these days. He's like, I just don't want to use a move that misses. Like he's absolutely surgical.
Riley
and Chris Paul, Chris Paul's a chatter. He barks, and I think Riley's a little freaky.
That's true. That's true.
I could see it.
Yeah. I had actually had a similar comp. I had someone said Shaq. I guess Michael, you said Shaq last time we talked. Or again, we planned this stream out a month ago, and then we this is part 2, so it's been a little bit. Do you remember this? Why you had this? Do you want to back this one up?
I think probably my guess, going back in time, was like the championships, and then also I think when we were talking about this, it was also he had the super dominant stretch at the beginning of 2023. Yeah, like the 2023-2024 season where he had like a top 8, a top 4, or a top 8, a top 2, and a win within 3 tournaments. Which I
think he got top 8 again after that too. It's like crazy.
Right. He just had like one of the most dominant stretches like we'd ever seen. And like Shaq, you could say like that was like the peak of like when you mention most dominant players of all time, it's always going to be Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
So
Shaq win.
Yeah, I got third, second. Sorry, go on.
Oh, go ahead.
I just said I got third, second. And I still didn't even feel close to Riley in terms of regional like finishes because he kept going after that for a little too. Like he would get top 8 like every time. It was nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, just super consistent player and emphasizes consistency, right? He makes a point not to use moves that miss, like you said, which is probably why he does so consistently well. Knows he can outplay players even if he's using a lower powered team. I have a similar comp to the Chris Paul comp. Maybe understates his level of play, but I had him as Derek Fisher because just like Riley, Derek Fisher has won 5 NBA championships, just like Riley has won 5 regional championships. And just like Riley, he's also from Los Angeles, or at least played in Los Angeles, rather. I don't think Derek Fisher is actually from Los Angeles. I don't know where he's from.
Neither is Riley.
Neither is Riley. All right, there we go. And then on top of that, Derek Fisher, it's a funny story. He stole his teammate's girlfriend. He stole Matt Barnes' ex-wife. And if there's any VGC player I would bet on trying to steal their teammate's girl, it'd be Riley. Which also adds to the comparison.
That's foul. Okay. I think he's a little better than Fisher, but sure. I see it.
He is definitely better than Derek Fisher was. But Derek Fisher was also was a really good player for a really long time too. So
yeah, but Chris Paul's got 5-time assist leader, like 7-time All NBA. What is it? First team defense. Like I think 12.
Chris Paul is a very respected player. Like when people talk about his nickname's the Point God, and like when people talk about like the mid 2000s, like he was like a top 5 player for the entirety of that era. If Chris Paul won a championship, like we would be talking about him completely differently. Like he would easily be considered like a top 25 player of all time, but without that championship, he's closer to like a top 50. But
yeah,
maybe top what is he? Top 4 point guard then?
Depending on who you ask, right? I think a lot of people would say, yeah, a lot of people would put him probably between 3 to 5. I would say.
You got Magic and Stockton.
Yeah.
Who is number 3?
No, well, Magic and Steph are 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, Steph.
And I think
no. Steph is 1.
I'm sorry.
Magic and Steph are 1 and 2.
I guess Steph could be 1. I can understand that argument.
Right. Well, whatever. Like they're splitting hairs, but I think everyone will say Magic and Steph are 1 and 2, and then I think 3, 4, 5 would be like Isaiah Thomas, Chris Paul, and Jason Kidd, and then maybe Stockton. Like I don't think people really rate Stockton as highly as those guys.
Okay. I don't think I rate Jason Kidd that highly either. Fair enough.
Jason Kidd was really good.
Yeah, Jason Kidd was really good.
He was really good.
But I think I don't know if I have him over Steve Nash.
Steve Nash was a late bloomer. He didn't have as long a career.
I mean, Steve Nash also never had playoff success like Kidd
That's
did.
true. Mm-hmm. The MVPs are just kind of there.
Yeah. So I will point out, because you mentioned Chris Paul, someone at Louisville Regionals, I forget who. I think this might have been Joe or someone. Inc. I don't remember who. Someone saw my Sam Pandela slide, Sam Pandela's Chris Paul slide, and thought it was so funny. They posted it in their group chat. They showed me the message. So I'm glad this one, people appreciated this one. I thought this was the highlight of the last stream for me.
I totally forgot about that.
God, this was great.
Oh, you're right.
All right, where are we at? Going back to we just did Riley. Next up is Ashton Cox, another one of the best North American players of all time. He has won 2 internets, both of them in Latin America. He's also won 2 regionals, including one with the Max Attack EV Lunala. Fun fact. That was back in the dark ages of VGC, back in 2019. But anyone got a good comp for? Oh, he also
what's the story for that? I don't think I've heard it before.
So he ran. I think it was the same team that he actually won Latin American internets with. Before he won Latin American internets, but it was a Xerneas Lunala team, except he and Jeremy Rodriguez, who would always team build together, both had Max Attack EVs Lunala. They just EV trained their Pokemon wrong, or whatever. And it was an accident. It was a total accident. Totally understandable. Sometimes you KO Machamps instead of Miss Magus or whatever. Yeah. So they both met in finals of that regional, and they both had the totally wrong Lunala. So they didn't need special attack EVs. It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
They played in finals, right?
Yeah, they played in finals. They played in finals of the regional. It was crazy. This is also, dark days of VGC when it was like an 80-person regional. But
right.
But yeah,
still hard, man.
He also, I think his breakout performance was 2014, where he got top 32 at Worlds with, I want to say Pikachu, if I recall correctly. He had a history
top 8 at Nats.
Top 8 at Nats, was that it? I know he was known for using Pikachu. Back in 2014, I know he'd known for using Pikachu. Let me see if I can find it. If I Google Ashton Cox Pikachu, will it come up? Top 4?
I don't know, but he's been using weird teams forever.
Yeah, he's been using some
more
weird
recently.
teams.
I feel like he's been more has been running more traditional teams, right? Like that's
and
at least in Gen 9, when I've played him, he's run pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, Ashton got 11th at 2014 Nats.
Okay. All right.
God, what a time.
He was known for using weird stuff way back in the day, but then even as late as like early 2019, I think, was when we started to see him use lower. I guess 2019 he used Zernala, and it became meta partially because he was so dominant with it. But after that, I think he's mostly been using relatively standard stuff. Definitely still likes putting his own twist on things.
Yeah, I think it was starting in 2018. He started getting a little more normal because he started using like Salamon's T-Tar. Like the fact that that's normal enough, I guess. I'm like, this looks like a real like team with like defensive switching and stuff. Like it was Finny T-Tar Aegislash, I think.
2016. Okay, he got top 4 to regional with 2016 with Pikachu apparently.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
He lost to Wolf when Wolf won with Perish Trap that regional.
Twice, 2 different times.
Oh yeah. I was thinking about the old one. I forgot that happened again in Orlando, right?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
All right, who's got a good Ashton comp?
It's tricky because he's so creative.
All right,
and pretty accomplished.
I'll go with mine.
Tell us yours.
I got Damian Lillard. Because so Ashton, like you said, he's built some of the coolest teams. You always got to keep an eye on him. He can always pop off. He's not super consistent. It's kind of boom or bust for him. But he can never quite do it at Worlds, which is kind of like Damian Lillard could never quite do it in the playoffs. But I love Damian Lillard, one of my favorite basketball players that wasn't on the Mavericks of all time. He was, especially in his prime. He's a little washed up now, but one of my favorite players to watch. He was always so clutch. Always one of the 10 best players in the world. But never could quite win a championship. And Ashton, I think in his prime, that 2019 season was one of the most insane seasons where he won LAIC. I believe he won 2 regionals that year, just like so consistently good in 2019. But yeah, never couldn't quite get over the hump in the playoffs when it really counted. But yeah, when it wasn't the playoffs, when it was clutch time at regionals, at internets, he was always up for the game, up for he was always up for it, you know. And so I think that is why he's my Damian Lillard personally.
I do like it.
I could see
I
it,
just
yeah.
don't know how to find the play style, you know, because I do think that he had pretty damn good success. But then yeah, the Worlds is just like, it's kind of like the playoffs. Sometimes it's just certain players' kryptonites, and they're still really, really good. But it's always just next level hard.
Yeah,
I could see Dame.
Sabaku, we are talking about VGC history, and we are comparing it to players in NBA history, and kind of almost like think of it almost like as a VGC iceberg, but we're also adding in some basketball stuff in some ways. If you want to put a twist on it like that. Michael, any thoughts on Ashton?
No thoughts. I don't really know much of what he did before Gen 9. And then I feel like in Gen 9 he's kind of been a little bit in and out of the scene, but I did play him at a regional in Vancouver.
It's
very
true.
good
He's in
player.
and out. Maybe like an injury.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's Paul George.
Paul George. All right. I feel like
Got
we
a
compare a
little
lot of players to Paul
lag
George.
Paul George is just
Only the second one.
the good NBA player.
It's true.
That's what I'm saying. He's a good NBA player. He's kind of been in and out, but then has really high peaks,
but never could do it in the playoffs.
and then just never makes the finals.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
All right, now next up we got Ashton's partner in crime. We got Jeremy Rodriguez. He was the 2018 North American International Champion. He is a one-time regional champion with Evie of all things back in Florida Regionals 2017. He also has gotten, I believe he's cut internets. I'm not entirely sure about that. I don't have it all pulled up. But he also is now he recently, or I guess not recently. He retired. Sort of. He moved to China for a year to do some study abroad there. Now he's in law school, and I actually hung out with him a little bit at Worlds. So he doesn't seem like he's back, but he's definitely still back around now, playing a little more casually. But yeah, he's another one of those players in Gen 7 where he was a menace. He was one of the best North American players, so consistently did well, and then never quite got over the hump at Worlds despite winning an internets in that time frame and getting second to that regional in Tennessee with Max Attack Lunala.
I just think there's no possible comparison to the craziness that is J-Rod winning a regional with EV. I don't know it's possible. He's a very interesting dude too.
I assume it was the Crocodile, Espion, and stuff, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I not super related to this, but it was when I first started playing competitive, and one of my first opportunities to play a relatively important game on Smogon. The meta at the time, it was Gen 7 Ubers, and the meta at the time, one of the strong teams was EV in Gen 7 Ubers, where you would lead Mew or Smeargle or whatever, set Tailwind so that you could EVMZ and then pass to Crocodile or Espion and just one-shot everything. But I just it seems troll because it's EV, but that EV extreme Evo boost is just such a strong move with baton pass. I don't know. I don't see it as a weak strategy, I guess is what I'm trying to say here.
It's susceptible to certain things like haze and stuff, but he found a way.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It was definitely around in VGC, and everyone kind of aware that it was around, but everyone thought it was kind of gimmicky. But there were a couple people who were just really dedicated to it. I know Giovanni Costa really liked it. I think Jerry Myers used it a lot. And I guess Sejin Park got third at Korea Nats with it. I didn't know that part. But yeah, you could see Jeremy use it a bunch and kept top cutting regionals with it. And it's just hey, you better have your EV matchup, because if not, you know what's going to happen. So
Probably.
yeah.
Whoa, what the? Did you see that Metagross Charizard one?
Oh yeah, dude, I love this team. This is my favorite 2018 team to go
Who
back and
the
play
heck?
2018 with.
Metagross Charizard Greninja.
I thought you said Jeremy Rodriguez funny. I didn't realize you said Jerry Myers.
Yeah, Jerry Myers cut Salt Lake City regionals with it. I've won some.
I thought you were just saying Jeremy's name like as a nickname.
I'm sure you were at this regional.
Me, I wasn't actually.
I will say this regional was also cursed. This was the Belly Drum Kamoa that won, I believe.
Pickle Sword.
Pickle Sword. Yeah. This is the Pickle Sword regional.
Who's Pickle Sword in the NBA, bro?
Okay,
Oh man. This is deep VGC
I
lore.
don't know.
Something about Salt Lake City regionals every time.
I'm gonna Google Mormon NBA players.
John Stockton, right?
Who's
Who's that guy from Duke
that
that got converted? Who got
Jimmer Fredette?
Yeah, Jimmer Fredette.
John
Yeah, he
Bradley?
played for Boyt. There's that.
Oh,
You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The one. This is a total tangent, totally unrelated to J-Rod. There's the one NBA player who's like groomed by his babysitter and then converted to Mormonism. Yeah. Duke NBA player groomed. I will find it for sure, no doubt. It's
This is so sad.
Here we go. Kyle
I don't know about
Filipowski.
this.
Yeah,
I did not know about this.
this is he was groomed by his 30-year-old Mormon girlfriend while he was in like high school. And now they're married. And he got
What the hell?
Yeah. His family isn't cool with it either. Like it's weird stuff.
Not to like take over the stream's content, but yeah, that's pretty common. It's predatory. I will stand on that. Anyway,
absolutely. If you haven't heard about this, read into it. Like it is really weird, and it is this was like definitely predatory.
no, not that. I mean, like there's a lot of like Mormon conversions like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, to try to avoid pissing off anyone, let's talk about J-Rod.
Yeah.
without passing comment on Mormonism, let's talk about J-Rod because we're off on a tangent. Anyone got a J-Rod comp?
Whoa.
Fuck, I totally forgot about that. Dude, I like yours.
You like mine? All right, I'll pull it up. I had Stephen Marbury. Stephen Marbury was kind of similar to David in a lot of ways. He was kind of the predecessor spiritually. He was just such a fun player to watch, a very flamboyant player. Never won a championship, but was an all-star for a few years. And towards the end of his career, he left and he went to play in China. And he spent 9 years in China as a superstar, just like J-Rod left for China, except he didn't. I don't think he played VGC in China. But yeah, he was like, VGC.
But I'm sure he's
over
still a superstar there.
But what was that?
I said I'm sure he's still a superstar in China.
I think he's retired now. I think I looked it up and he like owns a team in China now. Like he's one of the very few athletes to like get permanent residence in China.
I was talking about Jeremy, bro.
Oh no, he's back. He's back in the U.S. He's in law school.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know, Marbury, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but in China, he's like the Michael Jordan of Chinese basketball. Like,
That's so funny.
He's like the biggest star by far in like the CBA, and he played like most of his prime in China, and he was like considered. I mean, like he was completely dominant, like even into like later into his career, like when he was in his like late 30s and stuff, and he was like literally, 40, literally like considered like the Michael Jordan is what I've been told.
And he played up until 2018. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, Stephen Marbury, he was the shit. Even while this is a clothing line. Hold up. There we go. He was the shit when I was growing up. He was so fun to watch way back when I was a kid. Fun to play with too. Back in the like NBA Live 2004, he was one of my favorite players to use. I always try to trade for him. Yeah, 2-time NBA
Awesome.
All-Star, two All NBA teams, All NBA rookie first team, and then of course look at all his accomplishments in China.
He's probably one of the most quoted NBA players in rap music, I'd say.
Wait,
They
actually?
mention him a lot. Yeah.
Drop a bar. Give me an example.
Interesting.
Stephon Marbury. That's all I got. But they bring him up often, I swear. I know he's in a Jid
Interesting.
song. I know he's in a.
His name just rhymes
I
with
don't know,
things.
It's true, and he's kind of just legendary like that. I feel like that's just a cool part of rap, though. Is like certain players get immortalized in the culture just because like they're in a song. I mean, there's a lot of them, right? But yeah, I think Marbury is like definitely one of them.
Well, so Marbury also is like one of the OG New Yorkers. You know, like he was a kid who grew up in New York and was like super hyped up because he was one of the best players in the state of New York. And I feel like those players always get hyped up, and so I can imagine him being a big part of that that rap scene as well. Being a local.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, let's talk about another superstar. Another Latin American superstar, just like Ashton Cox. We got Gabriel Ugarte, who has 4 international top cuts. He just won a regional in Joinville. This was between part 1 and part 2. He won a regional casually, and then he also got top 16 at the World Championships. When was this? 2023 or 2024? I forget which one. Pretty recently, he got top 16 at the World Championships. One of the best young players as well. In the game right now, he started out as a ladder warrior and then started going to events and immediately popped off and started going to more and more events as Pokemon started to fund itself. One day he will move to America and come to grad school here or something, and he'll literally pay for grad school with with VGC money because he's legitimately one of the best players in the world. Who we got for Gabriel Ugarte?
Oh, dude, he's so good. I'm trying to think. I feel like any player I think of is not like good enough to me. Because I want to pick like a youngish player as well.
Mm-hmm.
How old is Ugarte?
I want to say like 24, 5.
I think he's an undergrad, right?
Okay.
No. I think he's older than me. I'm 23 now.
Okay. I don't know.
That's why I'm saying 24, 25.
All right. I'm
trying to think because I think he's like he's kind of similar to like Edu when Edu was younger.
Bro, I got his birthday. He's 24. According to esportsearnings.com. He's 24. So.
Wow, that is actually nuts.
Dude, okay.
You could find that.
There was on one of these, what was it? I think it was on Wikipedia. They had a page that was just Pokemon players' birthdays. And I think they had to take it down because people were just like, this is weird, this is creepy. So
yeah. No, mine's on there because of that, and I'm like, that's a little odd, but it's not that hard to find out. For NBA comparison, I have one, but I think that Ugarte is maybe better than this guy, but I think there's some similarities. So I'm gonna say it's DeMar DeRozan, okay?
Okay.
And the reason why is because Ugarte, you know, he blew up, I think, in like 2017 LAIC using like a stall team like Bulu with Toxic. I don't know if it was P2 or Arcanine or whatever.
It's still
and he's always just been like I feel like the vibes are like mid-range king, you know, and consistent. And people don't realize that DeMar is like really up there on like points in this decade, points in like, just like in his entire
DeMar's
career.
an underrated player. I think.
Yeah.
I think Agate's probably better still than DeMar, but like in terms of consistency, I could definitely see the comparison.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think the game is just like really classic, like mid-range scorer. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I feel about Agate's play style.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like it. He yeah, I can see it. DeMar is. The thing is, I think Ugarte is better than DeRozan. Is the only problem, but I do see the comparison. Right. But like Ugarte is like, DeRozan was never one of the best players in the world. I felt like he was definitely like an all-star, but like never quite. I guess he was. I guess he had a couple years.
No, DeMar was really good.
There was a couple years he was a top 10 player. I would say he was never really a top 5 player, but there were a few years where he was a top 10 player.
Mm-hmm.
I think the talent in like the span when he was peaking was unfair. Like you have to compare yourself to prime LeBron, KD, Steph. Like
that's true.
Well, to be fair, the league during that time was super top heavy, but like the second tier was a lot weaker, and DeMar was probably like the best player in that, or like one of the best players in like that past the first tier. So you could say he was like probably in the top 10. But his teams could never just get over the hump. Like, you know, he was playing against LeBron and, you know, the LeBronto memes and stuff. So I feel like in terms of that angle, it's a little bit tough to compare him with Ugarte, because I think Ugarte is better. But I like the stylistic and this consistency, because like DeMar, the thing is like with him is like, you know, every time up the court, you know exactly what he's gonna do, but you just can't really stop him. But
you could also say he's like maybe like a Devin Booker, because Ugarte does have like a little bit more versatility than maybe what DeMar's game is. Not any shade to DeMar, obviously. Devin Booker, I'm just trying to think of like pretty good jump shooters, I guess, and like good technique. Like I'm trying to think of like a Kobe style play style, because I had Edu as Kobe as well, and I feel like Ugarte in my head is kind of like a modern day Edu. Even though Edu is still playing, but you know what I mean.
All right, I will throw out mine. As far as I go, so I have him as Zion Williamson. And the reason for that is because earlier in I guess in the last one, I kind of said that playing in LATAM is like being injured all the time, because we just don't get to see you play enough. I think I compared Paul Ruiz to Yao Ming for kind of that reason. And so yeah, it's like we just don't get to see you play as often. So that's I got it. You get to see him at Internats basically. I don't know how to evaluate Joinville regionals. Like how do you compare winning Joinville regionals to winning like a regional in North America? It's like really not the same. Not to say it's easy by any means, but it's smaller, right? So he showed so many flashes of greatness. He's so close to winning a championship, so close to winning an Internats. And I think that Zion, you know, if he can get it all together, can put it all together for one season, I think he can also, and maybe get on the right team and off the Pelicans, he can win a championship. And I think Ugarte, if he can ever leave Brazil, then I think he can also he can become one of the greatest players in the world. But as long as he stayed in Brazil, it's really hard for him to sort of just compete with all the other great players in this, and he doesn't get to play as often, just like kind of like Zion. I guess that's the main reason for the comparison.
Yeah, I think Ugarte is probably better than Zion at this point, but
I was gonna say.
Oh yeah, absolutely, no doubt.
I think there's more promise for Agate's chances of winning Worlds than where Zion's at right now.
Zion, all he's got to do is leave New Orleans. If he leaves New Orleans, I promise you, he will pop off.
If he gets put in the right situation, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say at this point.
He's exciting. He's a freak athlete. Like, he's so crazy fun.
But at this point, for me, on Zion, it's definitely going to be I have to see it to believe it at this point. Like, it's not. I don't have any faith in Zion at this point in his career.
For sure. No, I also do like the DeRozan Devin Booker type comparisons, where I think that's a better approximation of skill level. I don't even know.
Yeah, I think Book's good actually.
Book's pretty good, yeah.
Booker it would be probably closer than
handsome as well. What is it? True. Conventionally attractive.
Yeah. Rafa, who's the best Brazilian basketball player? Probably like Leandro Barbosa, right?
I was gonna say Leandro Barbosa, the GOAT. I don't know any other Brazilian basketball players.
Is Verjao Brazilian?
Was he?
Verjao.
But Barbosa's the first one that came to mind.
Yes, he is Brazilian. You're right on that.
Name sounds really
Barbosa was definitely better.
I guess.
All right, now I'm going down this rabbit hole. And we got a few like Anderson Verjao, Thiago Splitter, Nene, Barbosa. I don't recognize a bunch of these names. In 2021, they had Verjao and no one I recognize out here. Anyone know who Didi Lozada is?
No, it's Barbosa definitely.
These are the big ones. Nene and Verjao had some pretty good careers too. I will say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Barbosa was averaging like 18 points per game.
That's true.
It was 18 points per game in an era where points were mattered more, not mattered more, but like were harder to come by at that time.
I'm saying that's good compared to like.
Right, no, like I'm saying 18 during that era would be like 25 now, like nowadays.
When did he really average 18 points a game? When was that? 2007?
In 07, 06, 07, yeah.
Sixth man of the year.
Okay. Bench,
he was on the Suns. Yes, it's the era, but like he also was on the run and gun Suns. I mean, they scored more points than anyone else in the league. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they had the best defense in the league.
That was a fun team to watch. I do remember him playing on the Suns that time. Yeah, Rafa's got it. Raptors legend.
Raptors
and he's been on like our coaching staff and stuff.
That's pretty cool
for the Warriors.
Yeah, he's coaching for the Kings right now apparently.
Oh yeah, because Mike Brown left to the Kings too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Who was also the Warriors defensive coordinator. That was so sad, dude. After we won the championship, he just left, I think. Yeah.
That's what happens when we win a championship. Is your best assistant coaches tend to leave. We had I
mean Kenny Atkinson just left too, right? Like is that his name? Yeah.
That sounds right. Yeah.
But the Kings are exciting, and I'm really happy for Sacramento. Honestly, the team's fun.
Yeah, we were talking about DeRozan. That's going to be fun to watch on the Kings. I think he's a great veteran presence for them.
Yeah, I don't think it pushes them over any hump, but like it's cool.
It might be a second round hump.
That's the thing is like I don't know. I feel like the Kings, they could be the 10 seed in the West. They could be the 4 seed in the West, and they could really be anywhere in between. I don't know. They're a young team.
Them being
it's too high.
I could see them being a 2-3 seed even. Like
I don't know.
They were at 3 seed 2 years ago.
Dude, I still think the Thunder, the Nuggets, honestly the Mavs are like hit or miss. Like I don't know how the regular season.
I think only out of those teams, the Thunder are the only team that I would definitely expect to finish ahead of them in the regular season. Like
You're stupid, bro.
I can't say the Nuggets are too good. The Nuggets are too good. The Nuggets and Thunder are 1 and 2.
The Nuggets are a better team, but they won't necessarily finish ahead of the Kings in the regular season, in my opinion.
Dude, they were tied. They had the same record as OKC last year.
And they got worse.
Yeah, that was number 1 seed, though. Even when Jokic had, like, literal plumbers on his team, like, I think the record's going to be better. Like, I really think the Nuggets are so over-criticized.
I think the Nuggets are a good team, but I think
the Suns will have a really good regular season.
I think the Kings can have a really good regular season. I don't think the Suns can have the Suns are just bad.
You want my hot take for which team is going to be top 4 in the West? I think the Rockets are going to be top 4 in the West. I think they've got so much young talent.
They'll be top 4 at some point in the season, but they won't be top 4 at the end of the season.
Şengün becomes Jokic.
They got so much young talent, and they've got so many assets. If there's anyone who could swing a big trade in the season, if they make a push for I think that they can do it. And so I get the Thunder can also do it, but the Thunder are already going to be top team. I believe in the Rockets. I think they're going to make the playoffs, and I think they could push for a top 4 seed. I think they're more likely to get a top 4 seed than the Kings are.
Disagree. Hard disagree.
Now that I'm looking at it, actually, the Timberwolves got worse.
They got worse.
I still think they're going to be up there.
The Wolves got a lot worse.
Yeah, the Wolves and Clippers are going to fall off a little bit.
But the Clippers are still going to be good if Kawhi's healthy, so I don't know.
And so, I mean, I think that the Thunder, Nuggets, and Mavs are the big 3 right now. And then the 4th slot is kind of open, and I do think that like the Suns are probably the favorite for it, but there's a few different teams that can get it. The Wolves are still probably pretty good. Yeah, the Suns, the Wolves, they're both got a lot of talent.
Why do you hate the Suns so much?
They're not good. That's why I hate them.
You're crazy. They had a pretty good offseason, I think.
I don't know. We'll have to see. There's a lot. Again, there's like 11 teams in the West that are all really, really good, and I think that could all fight for the top 5 or 6 slots. And so, yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to watch. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be super fun. Sorry, we can go back to VGC.
All right. Next up, we got James Beck. He got back-to-back top 4 Worlds performances back in 2019 and then 2022. He is the Latin American International Champion. He is a 4-time regional champion. And I don't know what else to say about James. He's really good. He has a YouTube channel. He's well known for his YouTube channel as well. Who do we got for James Beck?
Dude, I don't know, like Moses Malone. This guy's insane. I think he's one of the best players ever.
Yeah, I was gonna go maybe like a Dwayne Wade or something. I could see a Moses Malone, just someone who's like super consistent, super good. Um,
Because I was thinking MVPs too, but like maybe not. I
oh
don't
yeah,
know.
maybe I kind of maybe like a Dwayne Wade or like maybe like a Reggie Miller because like they also have like a large media presence. You know, like
Oh, I see that.
I did not think of Reggie
Like
Miller.
the
I like that
battles.
comparison a lot. That one's really good.
I think Beck's better than Reggie Miller though.
yeah, for sure, he's better.
I think Beck's like a
But
top 10 VGC player all time.
I don't think that's true. I don't think he's quite there yet.
What, dude?
It's
Top four, back to back.
That's true.
There's not 10 players.
It's a pretty crazy streak, but yeah, you know, we were having this conversation
I
at
could see
Louisville
top 10.
I could see top 10. I think we were talking about
With
this
no
at
mega.
Louisville, and there was like a pretty clear like top 7 or 8. And then the last 2 slots for definitely up for debate. So I could see him sneaking into the top 10. But
Well, what's your top 10?
but top
I
10.
think Paul
man.
Chu is above him.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that
Or
Paul
like, what's
Chuo
your top 7? I guess
we were having the discussion: is Paul Chuo one of the 10 best players of all time? And I think he was slotting in at like number 8ish. So okay. I gotta pull up this stupid PowerPoint again and see who I had. Because we had Ray Rizzo, Wolf Glick, undoubted, no doubt, right? I had Naoto
Right.
as number 3 personally,
Okay.
as my third best
Right.
player of all time. I think Edu is pretty clearly top 10. I think Emilio
Right.
Forbes, just in terms of the level of play, I think is top 10. I think Hirofumi.
Well, if you're doing that with Emilio, then you have to say Paul too. I think Paul has better accolades.
He definitely has better accolades. Who else did I have? I think Paul Ruiz, by nature of winning a world championship, is top 10.
Yep.
On top of another top 8. And
Top 4.
yeah, another top 4. Excuse me. Sejin Park
Right.
is top 10, and who's the other? Oh, Hirofumi is top 10. I think that was my top 8 or top 7 or top 8, whatever that was. And then from there, it kind of gets iffy because then you can argue for Paul Chua, you could argue for James Beck, you could argue for a couple of the Japanese players like Shoma, Honami, like Zine potentially, who have won world championships.
Some of the names you put in there for like people who haven't won worlds, I would put Paul Chua, James Beck, Hirofumi, like all in a similar tier. Like we've seen a lot less of Hirofumi, so the sample size makes it like kind of crazier. But like I don't know, Paul Chua's won like a million regionals. James Beck's won how many? He won 1 or 2 internets or something. Infinite cuts.
Mm-hmm. Beck has won,
And back-to-back top 4 is crazy.
It kind of depends on how you value worlds versus other stuff because
Dude, he did it with no mega.
He did it with no mega. That was pretty hype. Like you could argue Gavin is up there because he also has an Internats win and a Nationals win and 3 regional championships. I don't know. Like we were
The world's finishes aren't there.
I mean,
that's the thing, right? It's like how much do you value worlds? We had this whole discussion.
If you stack it up, Beck is like definitely is better than a lot of the other players that you're mentioning right now. Is like
I think so
in terms of accomplishment. So like I definitely would put him in the top 10. Like when you kind of like lay it out like that, I think he's definitely in the top 10.
I agree. You've talked me into it. I think he's in the back half of the top 10, but he probably is
back half of the top 10, but top 10.
Yeah,
Right.
I
I think
agree
it's
with that.
Emilio, Paul, Hirofumi, and Beck for players who haven't won worlds, who are the best ever.
Yeah, I could. Well, MDB is also up there now, I think. But yeah. I got you.
That's true.
He's already raising up the GOAT rankings already. So, all right. So who you said? We said Reggie Miller and we said Moses Malone. Which I think Reggie Miller is a really good comp in terms of how clutch Reggie Miller is, and James Beck feels like he always comes up clutch when he needs to. He doesn't really like lose in top cut as much as other players do. He wins a lot. He wins a disproportionate number of the events that he tops cuts. Is what I'll say. And Reggie Miller is of course known for being clutch. And then also the media personality aspect of it, I think, is a pretty good comparison. Even though James is all time up there. I see Robert Parrish in the chat, which I think I can see in terms of longevity. And then Moses Malone also a pretty good comp, probably more comparable in terms of his skill level, I think. But for me, I had Big Shot Rob, and that's because I thought I think if one, he wins so many championships. He's won 7 championships. It's unprecedented in the same way that James Beck is, third all time, fourth all time in terms of regional championship wins, won an Internats, top four at Worlds multiple times. Again, every time it counts. Every time he gets to the biggest stage, he does well. Again, not in terms of play. Robert Horry never was quite as good a player as James Beck was, but in terms of how consistently he's done it and over how many years he's done it, Robert Horry is my comp. But I do really like the Reggie Miller comp a little more, honestly.
Robert Horry, also a very frequently cited basketball player in rap.
Yeah, you win that many championships, right? Big Shot Rob. We need a nickname for James Beck that's like Big Shot Rob. I don't know if we have a good nickname for him.
Baxter, back to back.
Back to back tough fours.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Next up, we got Aaron Traylor, who has a second place finish at the U.S. National Championships back in 2016, I believe. He has two world's top cuts. The best finish being top 8 at the 2016 World Championships, I believe, if I can recall correctly. He has 2 regional championships as well. On top of that, who do we got for Aaron Traylor?
Boban Marjanovic.
All right.
Because everyone loves him.
Sure.
I'm trying to find the nicest NBA player possible, dude.
Boban is probably like the most well-loved NBA player.
I will say, we talked. Emilio had Waka gifted a sub. By the way, if you gift a sub, you can get us to request a VGC player or an NBA player. And Emilio requested Waka last time, and I thought about it later, and I thought Boban was the perfect Waka. For similar reasons.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think Aaron's a little better than Boban is the problem, right? He's
Aaron's a lot better than Boban.
A lot better.
Just a little bit,
Just a little bit.
Let me think here. This is interesting. He could be. I was trying to fit him onto the Bulls, but I just don't think you can. Because of Wolf and Michael Jordan, but I think he's better than the remaining players on the Bulls.
Yep.
Who's Michael Jordan's friends?
but what if you compare it to LeBron James? Because I think he's got a good comp for Dwayne Wade, where he's
that's true.
Similarly talented player, but also and similarly out there now in terms of social media, in terms of he's hosting a game show right now, which is definitely something that Aaron would do. Aaron started our VGC. He created VGC Guide, right? He's done a lot of these projects for the VGC community as a whole. But then on top of that, Dwayne Wade is still, despite that, best known for being LeBron's buddy on the Heat, right? He was accomplished before that, accomplished after that. Just his most of his accomplishments came as LeBron's friend. And Aaron is of course Wolf's, I don't know if best friend, but one of his best friends for sure. So I think that in terms of those parallels, he also fits that description as well.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
I think those are pretty good reasons, and I think his 2016 run was actually so good. It does kind of remind me of young D Wade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that 2006.
Because he did it on his own too. He didn't even use anything that Wolf was using. He was just clinical about Bronson Cresselia Zerndon.
Yep, using the most standard team in the format. And got top 8 of world.
Well, Bronson Cresselia was innovative on his end, and he had flow charted it insanely. He posted some of his replays and the notes he took, and it was just yeah, that's the way to do it in that format, especially.
Does Dwayne Wade make ice cream? I don't know about that one. You have to ask. Yeah, I'll have to ask
That's
Dwayne.
true.
Next time I see him, I'll have to ask him. All right.
Yeah, no, nicest and community person, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and with that, we got Justin Karras. Karras was in chat last time, hoping that he would be on here. I had him on here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say if Aaron is Dwayne Wade, then Karras has got to be Chris Bosh. Karras got top 8 of Worlds in 2016, along with Aaron Traylor. Again, using something totally different from Wolf. It's kind of funny that they ended up all being best buds. He won a regional in 2023 and kind of talked about how he was really proud of, or one of his struggles in VGC was being such an accomplished player on his own, being such a talented player on his own, but kind of coming out of the shadow of his friends who were more accomplished than him. And I think Chris Bosch is kind of similar in terms of incredibly. Oh, I have the wrong title here. This is Dwayne Wade. But Chris Bosch also was an incredibly talented player on the Raptors. But is best known for being part of the Big Three. And yeah, kind of overlooked, the most overlooked part of that Big Three. And so I think Karis kind of fits the same role where he is both by being friends with Wolf and having his YouTube channel kind of kickstarted by Wolf, and his most viewed videos is him like kind of glazing Wolf a little bit. But then on top of that, also like being part of the Church of Tusk now with Yotab and Toller as well. And so he keeps being part of these trios, and he keeps being the just an accomplished player. Also the tallest of the trio. You might notice that consistently, like just a tall dude. And so he's got that going for him. He's got to be a big man. Yeah. So
I just like the height a lot. I think that's really
the height just fits.
I think they look kind of similar. I'm just gonna say it. I think they just have this
same vibes.
I want to pick like a Philly player for him, just because I think he's a 76ers fan. But I also think, honestly, low-key, Chris Bosh is way too underrated. I think Chris Bosh might be better than Karis' career. I'm not sure, but I like the storylines.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Bosh, I think it's pretty accurately rated. I think he's pretty accurately rated nowadays. I think, like, especially during the Heat era, like during the Heatles era, like in the mid 2010s, like people were really hating on Bosh because they thought he was underperforming. But like realistically, there's only one ball, and when LeBron and Wade are on your team, like he's not. You're not going to be able to put up as many counting stats as those guys. But Bosh, like he was the one who sacrificed, and I mean they won, and he had one of the most impactful rebounds like in the history of the NBA. When he in that game 6 when he tapped it out to Ray Allen for that shot. He was a like important piece of that team, like really important piece of that team. And I think nowadays people kind of recognize that. But definitely at the time he was like a little bit underrated.
Yeah, I mean I think that Heat, oh my God, that Heat team was kind of an early sign of what was to come with what like the league looks like now in terms of stretch fives and a lot more threes. Because I mean it's nowhere near what the Warriors did, but if you look at it compared to previous seasons, the Heat was stretching the floor a little more.
Yeah, Bosh was traditionally a 4, but he played like I guess I mean depending on how you want to view it, but like he was playing 4 or 5. Like they were playing with LeBron / Bosh at center, which like was like pretty abnormal at the time.
Mm-hmm. By the way, we just got the GC dates announced. We were talking about this before the stream started, but it is the days we thought it would be, October 25th.
Okay.
That
we guessed as much.
Yeah.
Getting my Dondoza ready.
Oh yeah. All right. Moving on from Justin Karis, unless someone had something to add about Karis.
No, that's good. I was trying to pick a funny Philly guy, but I can't think of any right now.
Funny.
Is he actually a Philly fan? I thought
I got a funny Philly
guy. Isn't he from Jersey?
So, he's a Sixers fan.
He's not a Nets fan? Damn.
I mean, Southern Jersey is basically Philly, right? I don't know where in Jersey.
Yeah, a lot of Jersey people in Jersey are Philly sports fans.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, there's Jersey is just like Northern Jersey is just New York suburbs, and Southern Jersey is just Philly suburbs, from my understanding. So, gotta be one or the other.
Also, just like who likes the Nets, bro?
They're not even.
And that's Brooklyn.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, now it's Brooklyn.
I mean, fair enough now, but like when Karis was growing up, like they were still in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on.
They were pretty bad during that era. So
hold up, I'm lagging. Hold up, where'd we go?
Oh wait, no, Karis is Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons. There you go.
Ben Simmons is crazy.
Clip it.
Wow. Okay. My computer is lagging. I got too much shit going on. All right. Hold up.
Oh no.
Next up, we got Shiliang Tang. I don't think it's actually popped up on stream yet. There we go. Shiliang Tang. One of the best North American players right now. Really popped off. He has won a regional last year. He won Hartford Regional Championships. He got top 8 at the North American Championships, and he top got Worlds this year. He's had a really strong season. I think on the Ben Build ladder, he was in the top 10 for a lot the last few months. I don't know if he's there after this regional, but yeah, he's just very consistent. And yeah, who do you got for Shiliang?
I need a second for this one.
I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna say Larry Bird, because I just think that Shiliang is like probably like, I don't know. I think he might just be like the best player in the world. I don't know. When I watch him play, he's just insane. I'm a Shiliang Glazer, and
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, I can do mine. And I think that's first off, Larry Bird. That's a crazy take for someone who has played so little VGC. Although he's certainly been very accomplished in the couple of years that he's playing. Let me tell you about Shiliang. All right, so if I am the average VGC enjoyer, if I'm just watching VGC, here's what I know about Shiliang Tang. So I watched Wolf's video about Orlando regionals, and he got mentioned as the guy Wolf beat in top 32 en route to winning that regional. And then I saw him, next time I saw Shiliang, I saw him beat Wolf in top 4 of Hartford regionals en route to winning that regional as his only regional championship. And then after that, the next time I saw him was when he beat Wolf in the win-in for day 2 of the World Championships a couple months later. Those were his 3 matches that year. I think those were the only 3 matches that year were Hartford regionals and the win-in for day 2 Worlds. If you look at Elo, like I said, he's the 2nd or 3rd best player in North America. I think he was 7th in Elo before, as of me writing this out, which is before 2 regionals happened. And so I think that he is Clyde Drexler, because Clyde Drexler was a 10-time All-Star shooting guard who went head-to-head with Jordan for his entire career. He won 1 championship, and that was after Jordan returned from baseball in '95. Although he didn't knock him out, he did go head-to-head with Jordan that year. But yeah, it's weird that Shiliang's career has been so tied to Wolf, even though I don't know their relationship at all. I don't think that they talk to each other or anything, but like they keep playing each other for some reason. And he is, like you said, he is one of the 3 best North American players right now. And of course, to come at the best, to be the best North American player, you got to beat the best. And he does keep playing Wolf. So yeah, I think he's also got a Wolf comparison, a Wolf Jordan comparison. He's the Clyde Drexler to Wolf's Jordan.
That's I really like the connection with the storylines, because I forgot about how often he kept playing Wolf on stream.
That's true.
So Clyde's good there. I just think his recent success was making me think more of like, really good, more modern players. Like I was thinking like Anthony Davis and stuff, but like there's not much outside of just being a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Shiliang's better than Anthony Davis. Come on.
I don't know,
Shiliang's
man.
better than AD?
AD's good.
What? Dude, what are you on? AD's crap. It's just injuries. And then like
I think Shiliang's better than AD.
Dude, I think AD's like when he peaks, he's dude, I think when he peaks he's like a top 5 player in the league sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I think AD right now is fringe top 10, closer to like top 15. And I think Shiliang is much better than that right now.
If AD's healthy, bro, I think he's top 10.
Yeah, that fringe top 10.
I think AD.
Well, there's so many good players.
Is he past his prime? How old is AD? 31? Okay, he's a little past his prime now.
He's past his prime in the sense that, like, considering that he's racked up a lot of injuries and miles, like his best basketball is probably behind him. Yeah. Even though, like, in terms of physical age, AD could, like, most players at 31 can still be playing at their best, but like I don't, like, in AD's case, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think his like. I think his AD peak is 2020.
2015 to 2020 AD was absolutely insane. I think that.
All right, let's say he's 2020 AD.
Yeah,
then I think he may be better.
His early career AD was absolutely nuts. Yeah.
The bubble run was also nuts, dude. He shot like 50% of his shots were mid-range shots. It was weird.
He was very good in the bubble run.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got the other half of the Tang gang. We got Justin Tang, who's a 2-time regional champion, came out of nowhere to win his first ever regional at Knoxville Regionals 2023. And then would go on to, was it Knoxville? Yeah, he won Knoxville, and then he won Fort Wayne Regionals, which was, I think, his second or third regional. His third regional. He got top 8 at his second regional. The third regional was Fort Wayne, and he won that one as well. So coming out of nowhere to win a couple regionals. Top 16, maybe? That sounds right. But hasn't accomplished much since then. Sorry, Justin. I know
he's got a couple top 8s.
He's got a couple top cuts. I know. It was me and him.
Day tiers and stuff, but
well. So we were the scrub gang out at Louisville. This is obviously in Louisville, man. One thing about the new structure is that more good players than ever make day 2 because day 2 is bigger than ever, and so hard to find people to hang out with when you scrub out. But Justin Tang, he also scrubbed out. I do that one. So sorry, Justin.
Yeah, call him out.
Hey, I scrubbed out too. I went 5-3.
Okay, just wait for his comparison. It'll all be redeemed.
All right. Who you got for Justin Tang, guys?
Oh, I just read yours. But,
you gotta stop reading mine beforehand.
I know. I'm sorry.
I mean, if I'm gonna say Shiliang is Larry Bird, then I would say Justin is Kevin McHale. But
Kevin McHale.
If you're gonna say Clyde Drexler, man, I don't know enough about 90s basketball.
Well, now I do from reading his notes, but
yeah, all right. We've hinted at it.
Wait, I was gonna say that he could be like a D-Rose equivalent, but like the injury hasn't happened. So,
well, I mean, the thing is, like, I'm making fun of Justin because he hasn't like popped off, but like, man, you're I don't think that anyone. It is so hard to ever reach those heights that he reached in his first couple of events. Like, it's basically impossible. And so, even though he's been a very, very good player since then, even though he's cut a bunch of regionals since then, and I think everyone would be terrified to play him. I certainly am. He's like going from 2-time regional champion to 3-time regional champion is real hard. It's not something that you can replicate very easily.
Dude, I'm trying to get to 2.
Right. I mean,
it's hard.
Alex took like what, 6 years to get to 2, from 2 to 3. Like, it takes a while.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think like let's just say D-Rose doesn't get injured. I think that's Justin Tang.
Sure, I can see it. I'll do mine. I said he's Hakeem Olajuwon. And I think Hakeem maybe a little bit of a better player than Justin Tang is, but also like maybe not. We'll see how Justin Tang's career pans out. But here's the storyline. So you've heard of Phi Slamma Jamma. He was part of Phi Slamma Jamma over on the Houston. What was the college Houston team called? I forget their mascot.
Cougars.
Cougars. Yeah, that's the one. Houston Cougars. He teamed up with Clyde Drexler in college, just like Shiliang and Justin worked together. Phi Slamma Jamma is
Justin's in college.
Phi Slamma Jamma is just a catchy hashtag or just a catchy tag as Tang Gang, which is very convenient for that duo. He was the number 1 draft pick, and then he won 2 NBA championships in back-to-back years, a lot like Justin Tang. Won 2 regionals in the same season. The second one he was paired up with Clyde Drexler as a teammate. But yeah, he won back-to-back championships. And of course, he won his back-to-back championships when Jordan was out of the league, or he won the first one when Jordan was out of the league, which was Wolf at those tournaments that he won? I don't think he was, right? So fake regionals.
Did he beat him?
No, he didn't. He didn't play him. I don't think he was at those regionals. Was he? I don't know.
Pretty sure he beat Wolf in top 8 at one.
Maybe.
I might think of someone else.
I don't know. No, I that wasn't a real part of it, but I just think that I think that in the same way that Shiliang and Justin are good friends, they work together and they have the hashtag Tang Gang because they have the same last name. I think the Phi Slamma Jamma duo of Clyde Drexler and Hakeem Olajuwon is a pretty good pairing for those guys.
No, I like that. Sorry, I was just like trying to figure out when I thought Justin and Wolf played. But that's pretty fun. You're like, was Wolf even there?
Does it really count as a regional
VGC
championship
only
if
matters
Wolf wasn't there?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't have a regional title, because Wolf wasn't in attendance. All West Coast regionals are fake. All European regionals are fake.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that Wolf's not in attendance for sure. Just not a real.
Or Paul. If Wolf or Paul aren't there, then it's like, what are we doing?
Oh, true.
Especially if Emilio's not there either. Now we're cooked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yo, West
He's
Coast
the
players
one.
got to get Emilio to unretire because otherwise the regionals don't count.
No, maybe I can finally win
Mickey
one.
Mouse regionals.
All right. Moving on from Mr. Justin Tang, we got James Evans, who I know he said he liked the stream, so I know he's watching, potentially watching at home on YouTube. And so James Evans, senior world champion back in 2018 with Mega Gardevoir. He is the NAIC champion in 2022, I believe, if I recall correctly. He has won one regional in Vancouver regionals, this 2023, 2024 Vancouver regionals, I believe. And also, I think he had a crazy streak. He got second place at Knoxville regionals, then backed it up with a win at Vancouver regionals. So really, really strong season last year as well. Who we got for James Evans?
Dude, we have so many good players. It's crazy.
We do. NA has a lot of players who are like not quite at the very, very top of the game, but are like a half level below that. Like I think Shili Yang, I think Justin, I think Aaron Trailer, I think we're gonna talk about Joe Ugarte soon. I think a lot of young players who are not quite as good as Aurelien, not quite as good as MDB, but like are very capable of winning internets apparently. So
yeah, I would put Chiliang on the level of the
oh, we know.
yeah, you're a blazer, bro. I mean, I think Shilling's really, really good. His last season was incredible. I just wanted to be
after watching that world set, the winning in for Worlds, I was just like, damn, I don't think I wouldn't have won that set. He's just way better.
I don't even remember it.
For anyone, yeah, you guys should watch that set. It was a masterclass.
That was the 2023 World set.
No, 2024 Worlds, like this most recent one. He played the winning in versus Torviv, and in game 3 he got pretty unlucky. Like he got crit on a really suboptimal turn and managed to pull back what looked like an unwinnable situation.
All right, yeah, I might have to watch that. I have not seen that one.
I think there's actually a recap, like a breakdown video on YouTube, kind of like about it that I saw, but you can also just watch the set as a.
Okay, I think James could be. I feel like it has to be someone who talks a lot, like trash, or like pops up. So I was thinking like Jimmy Butler, like talks a lot.
Pretty high Jimmy peak. Butler, I like that.
The other thing was that like I feel like James does really well with like teams that just prioritize damage trades more than anything else. Like not like just like fast, like Specs Golden Go, Guard Chomp Talon. His NAIC winning team was odd, like, but he was really, really good with it. I was thinking he could like be like a fast-paced guard like Darren Fox, but I feel like the other stuff's not there. So that's why I think more like Butler maybe.
I
like it. Michael, who you got?
Yeah, I like Jimmy Butler comparison because like I feel with James, his teams, it's never really like the most meta thing. Like that you'll like the most meta teams that you'll like he's normally just a little bit under the most common team. Like he'll play like a top 5 archetype, like kind of similar to how like Butler has kind of like an outdated playstyle nowadays where plays like a lot in the mid range and I also feel like James is like been pretty clutch in terms of like when he makes cut and stuff. Like whenever he shows up on stream, I feel like he does always do super well. But yeah, I don't know. I like that comparison. I don't have anything else to add.
Mm-hmm.
He's also a Sixers fan.
He's a Sixers fan. All right.
I think he could be Tyrese Maxey.
I see a Trey Young in chat. I think that's also a pretty good comparison. I had him as Kyle Lowry, because Kyle Lowry is also also a very accomplished player. Won an NBA championship, pretty comparable to James winning. I guess senior world sort of, but also winning NAIC. Kyle won as Olympic gold medalist for the United States, 6-time All-Star. Also, just like a loud dude, like one of the loudest dudes on the court. And let me tell you,
I didn't know that about Kyle Lowry.
He's always yelling, man. He's always yelling. Watched a lot of Raptors games back in 2019. But yeah, he's
really funny.
Yeah, and so yeah, kind of like James. It's funny because like James is such a good player and he's a nice dude. But especially when he was a little younger, especially when you play against him or you sat near him, you would hear it. And that's I think what a lot of VGC players think about when you talk about James Evans. Who's the kicking guy for James? I don't remember. I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, Rafa. But yeah, I think it's funny that we have the same idea of like, it's got to be someone who talks a lot. Just the defining character.
For sure.
I love James. For
sure.
No, I love
Kyle Lowry too.
Yeah, I know. I love Kyle Lowry. Exactly. Yeah. All right. Next up, we got hold up. We got Joe Ugarte, the one and only Joe UX9. He is a 2-time regional champion. Again, I'm very glad I didn't have to change the slide after making it after this weekend. He is his 4 Internat's top cuts, and he has 2 World's top cuts. Back-to-back Portland regional champion, I guess notably using Sun teams to a lot of success in particular, if that means anything for the NBA comparison. But he's like basically a Sun main with the Radon was his breakout team, and then Jump Left Sun, and then Rinja Sun, all that stuff. Who we got for Joe Ugarte?
Fuck, he is Devin
Steve
Booker,
Nash.
man.
Steve Nash, no? I think this Joe, like, the thing that I know Joe for the most, and I'm sure you guys can relate to me on this, is that when you watch him play, he clicks at the speed of light. And
That's true.
And like, if you think about that, like in translation to the NBA, Steve Nash, known as the 7 seconds or less Suns, fast-paced, really, really fast-paced offense. And, I mean, the Sun connection kind of works. In terms of like 2 regional championships, Steve Nash had 2 MVPs. Like, it kind of works.
No, I like it a lot.
Steve Nash is a certified clicker. Confirmed.
This is awesome, dude. Steve Nash is a great comparison because it really is like he's the fastest clicker in the game. He runs at the speed of light. Two MVPs is like 2 regional wins. Oh, that's a great comparison.
I do like it. I just think I guess honestly it's pretty good comparison to what the Suns' offense in the MVP years were like, because people were really high on him. And he's come down a little to earth recently, but like he's still in his prime, really good. And we're gonna see what happens. We just almost won a 3rd regional.
All right, he just got second at a regional, and he's known for using Sun. And it's Steve Nash is on the Suns. It's perfect. Like it's a really good comparison. No, that's better than my comparison. I had him as Trae Young for some of the same reasons. He's also like a super fast-paced guy.
True.
Also like a very fun player to watch. He's very like you never know what he's gonna do. Like with Joe, he's like much more unpredictable a player I think than a lot of other players, and that's kind of like Trae Young. But then also Trae is like he's a household name. He's really well known. He's got a big brand, I guess, and his brand might be bigger than his accomplishments a little bit. He hasn't quite put it together on the biggest stage. And so now we're going to see if he's going to be the next great American superstar, which I think Trae Young is in contention for sure. But yeah,
I think Joe's better than Trae, dude.
I think that's a reasonable take. I think Steve Nash is also. I told you I like Steve Nash as the comparison a lot better than Trae Young.
Nash is better.
Yeah.
Joe's accomplishments are insane. Like, I don't care about the first regional win at all too much, but like after that, he just kept proving himself. So it was like, I feel like he's better than Trae, whereas Trae did it like once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wish I had thought of the Suns comparison, the fact that Joe uses Sun and that we could have picked a player on the Suns. It would have been really good because Devin Booker would have worked too. All right, moving on from Joe. Next up we got Alberto Lara, who is one of the greatest older American players of all time, still kicking, still around, just coming off a top cut at Louisville Regionals. He's got 3 internet top cuts, and he's got sort of 3 internet top cuts. And he's also got 3 regional championships on top of all of that. the asterisk there is because he got DQ'd from top cut of an internats, and so I don't know if he has 4 or if he has 3. I don't actually couldn't tell you off the top of my head now. But yeah, who we got for Alberto?
I was thinking of like an LA player. I was thinking he could be Blake Griffin, but I think he'd be mad if I make him a Clippers player.
I got one in mind. I'm gonna go with Udonis Haslem because I think Alberto's a better player than Haslem, but I feel like the vibes of like, Haslem, especially like later into his career, was most well known for his like leadership and like veteran presence and stuff. And I feel like Alberto always had like stories and he's like his like wisdom and stuff. And they both had like super long careers. They've been playing for a long time. Or like Haslem, retired after 20 years in the NBA, which it's very rare for players to make it 20 years, especially all in the same team. I believe for Haslem, I want to say
he has not played
true.
for the last 10. Like
yeah, but there's a reason he was still signed to the team. I think of course I do think Alberto's a much better player, but the vibes I feel like are kind of similar.
I definitely.
I think I'd give him. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say I definitely get that about the vibes. He's a really really nice guy. He's one of like the chillest dudes you'll ever meet. When I started playing, Alberto was my first ever like really really big win. Again, like one of the top players that I beat. And I've hung out with him a couple times when I was in 2017 when I was starting out, and he was really really nice and like really really helpful. I would ask him questions all the time. Just he was always very helpful and always would respond, and always he helped me get a lot better at Pokemon. So I definitely like the mentorship aspect of Udonis Haslem.
Yeah, I mean, Alberto is a sweetheart. I've actually been talking to him recently about VGC just because like he's always using the scarf jump Corv, dude. That's his guys. That he's a very distinct like player in that his teams have always been really fun, or at least like not completely standard. Yeah, I personally just want to give him like an LA shout out. So like maybe I would say he's Pau Gasol, but I know you already had Torviv and Roxon as the Gasol brothers, but I didn't say that. So
yeah, that's true.
He's my Pau Gasol.
He's your Pau Gasol. I respect it. Oh, almost blew my water.
Pau Gasol also seems like a nice dude.
Yeah,
with stories.
All right, I got my player. I have him as Bob McAdoo, who is also a Los Angeles player, also or won a championship with Los Angeles, I believe. But let me tell you about the Bob McAdoo. So, let me pull up my notes here. Because I could not tell you about Bob McAdoo off the top of my head. So okay, Bob McAdoo.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Two-time NBA champ, 2-time NBA champ on the Lakers. But here's the and so of course Alberto, notable, aka Alberto, aka the Cali Sweeper. That was his username. Decidedly a SoCal dude. But and I'm gonna pull up his Wikipedia page here so I can read this out. So he sought out eligibility for the 1972 NBA draft. It was rumored that he had signed with the Virginia Squires in the ABA draft, the secret ABA draft, which was not announced. It was not made public. He denied it. But the NBA commissioner advised NBA teams to not draft Bob McAdoo. Other reports were that a contract was signed and voided because he was too young to have signed it. And then at the end of the day, it turns out he was actually the number 1 pick of the ABA draft, but it didn't matter because the Buffalo Braves picked him at number 2 overall. And then who are now the Clippers. And he ended up playing not for the ABA, but for the NBA. He won Rookie of the Year. And then, of course, later on, won MVP, won 2 championships with the Lakers later in his career. Yeah, let's see what his accomplishments are over here. 2-time mid-champion, MVP, 5-time All-Star. But like had this weird controversy that is like a total nothing burger, right? Like literally nothing happened. Who gives a shit? But also was like this weird controversy that is the type of thing that would happen to Alberto. It's very similar to like how he got DQ'd from Internet's Top Cut, which for those who don't know, this is 2018 NAIC, where he and Jeremy Rodriguez were playing a game in the very last round where J-Rod was locked into Top Cut and Alberto was not, I believe. And so they were like, you're not allowed to ask someone to scoop to you, But so Jeremy was like waiting for other results or something like that. I don't know exactly what the story is. But Alberto essentially like asked him to scoop because Jeremy had no reason to play it out, and Alberto had a reason to win, and you were just like not allowed to do that. And that was overheard by another player who wanted to get top 8, and so reported it. And Alberto won his top 8 set and then got DQ'd. First off, he was so nice about it too. I remember hanging out with him afterwards, and he was like, "Yeah, like I messed up. I didn't realize that was a rule. I didn't know." So stuff like that.
Damn.
And but like yeah,
this is really common, by the way. Scooping is like a normal thing that happens at events. You just can't ask someone. If someone offers, like, you can literally go to the judge and be like, "Yeah, I'm forfeiting this match to my opponent," and they will not give you any issues as long as you didn't break the rules. Like,
yep.
You
were not allowed
yeah, I'm
to
pretty
ask.
sure Jeremy scooped. Like,
yeah, he did. He did. He was like, Jeremy
it wasn't
decided.
a big deal.
Jeremy decided it was in his best interest to scoop because he would get a better matchup in top cut or something like that. But Alberto made the mistake of asking for it at some point, and that was against the rules, and he got DQ'd for it. So like again, total nothing burger. It's super common for players who are locked into top cut to scoop to players who are not locked into top cut. In fact, Raghav, I think didn't that happen to you at OCIC, right?
I mean, there was like a series of scoops.
Yeah, there was.
It's like almost. I played like 2 rounds in day 2.
Yeah, so
What?
it's like I'm saying, it happens all the time, but it's like a total nothing burger controversy. But it's similar to Bob McAdoo's career arc as well. So again, VGC iceberg. You guys are getting all the VGC lore in this stream. All right, moving on from Alberto. We did this one already. We compared Derek Rose to Chase Libert. We did this last time. Moxie requested it, so we got to this one. And so yeah, let's move on to some new school players. We're almost done actually. We have 5 players left. 4 players. Okay, good. We've been talking a lot. We've been yapping. Justin Knox, aka 45 Mice, you might know him on Twitter. He got top 16 at the World Championships this past year. He got top 8 at NAIC in his breakout performance in 2023. And he's also a doctor, and he spends his free time arguing with anti-vaxxers on Twitter, which is very cool. So he's also the manager of the NPA Puppies, and we won a championship together one year, which is cool. Actually, we won 2 championships together. One as a player, one as a manager. So yeah, super cool guy. Uses some cool Pokemon. Likes to use unorthodox choices. I think he cut NAIC with Iron Moth. You remember that? And then cut Worlds with Weezing on Calyrex. And so likes using some weird Pokemon. Who you got for Justin Knox?
I think he could be like Tyrese Halliburton. Like, I don't know where 45 Mice is from, but he's like super white, and like that could be Indiana.
Mm-hmm. He is actually from Indiana.
Also,
you got it.
Well, see, look at that.
You were just saying shit.
Hallie's like shooting form is like kind of funny, and his style of offense is incredible to watch. And I think Justin uses weird stuff, so I could say like I could see the comparison there. They're both just like recently, been blooming. So I actually really like Halliburton for that.
Mm-hmm. Michael, what are you thinking?
And I think Hallie's vaxxed.
I think I already said Reggie Miller for someone else, but there is some parallels here as well, because the thing before this Worlds, at least, one of his biggest accomplishment came at last year's NAIC, where he beat Wolf, and like there was the like I wouldn't say there's like a rivalry necessarily, but there was the controversy in that video, which like happened where Wolf mentioned that he didn't know a mechanic or whatever, and then so like that kind of parallels a little bit of the Jordan and Reggie Miller kind of compares, or Jordan and Reggie Miller if Wolf is Jordan, and then. But yeah, other than that, like I didn't have anything deeper than that.
Mm-hmm. I can see it. For context, by the way, because I do want to complete the Wolf story. Wolf said that Justin didn't know Oblivious block taunt, and lost because he switched out his Oblivious to Dozo, and Justin taunted it. And Justin was like, "No, I made her read. That's what you do." So it's like, man, fucking. All All right.
Wait, he just assumed he didn't know?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
in his
that's
video, in
literally
front of
what he
like
said in the
thousands.
video.
Yeah, that's what he said in the video. It was like, oh, my opponent didn't know this mechanic. It's like, that's so fucking obnoxious to say. Like,
Oh, I
your
didn't know that.
opponent
That's
got
misleading.
top eight at Nats, top court worlds. Like, what are you talking about, man? Anyways, I'm gonna say Justin Knox is Justin Knox, who is a player for I have no idea who this is. Wait, I gotta find my notes. Apparently, I googled Justin Knox, and there's actually a basketball player called Justin Knox. He played at UNC, and now plays in Korea. I think.
Surprised.
No, I got Jalen Brunson. I had a similar reasoning to you, Raghav, with Tyrese Halliburton. I think they're except I did not put the Indiana thing together, 2 and 2 together there. But here's the argument for Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson, this superstar player, came out of nowhere. He was late bloomer. Came out of nowhere as like 6th man on the Mavericks. Popped off in the playoffs, and then now he's a superstar on the Knicks. But here's the thing: Jalen Brunson is not your traditional superstar. He is like an undersized guard. He does not have the traditional mold for a superstar player. And Justin Knox also is not the traditional mold for a superstar player. And also Jalen Brunson as a late bloomer. How long is he gonna last? Right, he's undersized, a late bloomer. I don't know if he can keep this up for too much longer. Justin Knox is a doctor now. He has a wife. He's an adult. As compared to a lot of the other like top NA players we're talking about who are like children. He does not have as much time to dedicate to Pokemon. Does not get to go to as many events as a lot of these other players. And so, in that sense, I think that we might never see the full extent of what Justin can do because he started playing a little later and doesn't have as much time. I think that's kind of a reasonable comp to Jalen Brunson as well.
No, I get that.
I like the late bloomer comparison.
I still like my Tyrese one for the Indiana connection, but Jalen's it's like similar enough, right?
Right. I think of Tyrese and Jalen very similarly, maybe because they're both like stars in the East, and I don't get to watch them play nearly as much. But yeah, no, I think that I like the Tyrese comparison a lot too.
I think Brunson's a little better personally right now.
I think Justin Knox is like one of the best players in the world right now. Look at this streak, man. He keeps doing well.
No, I said better than Hallie.
Oh, then Hallie? Yeah, I think so too. Absolutely. Right now, absolutely. But Tyrese is younger, is the thing. Tyrese is like 24, isn't he? Like, easy.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see, man. Oh my God, wait.
I mean, Tyrese is really good too. Like, I think, they have kind of different skill sets. Brunson's a better floor raiser, but I think Halliburton is a better like ceiling raiser, I guess.
I think Halliburton's a really good floor raiser too. I mean, I don't know. I think they're both really good. I just think Brunson's better at buckets, and he's still evolving. I think it could be insane. I don't know.
He's 24.
He's a better shooter, maybe. Actually, no, Brunson's a really good shooter too.
He is.
Yeah. I think Hallie, he had a pretty poor playoffs last year. Even though the Pacers made the conference finals, it was like Halliburton didn't have like any like that many like signature Halliburton games or whatever. Like he had many single digit games in the playoffs, and definitely Brunson was has shown to be a playoff riser. Like he really showed up when it mattered. So
Brunson's a beast, man. He's so good.
He is very good.
All right, and then next up we got Santino, who is your Players Cup champion and your Players Cup Invitational champion. He's also got I think 3 regional top 8s to this record. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I could think of 3 off the top of my head. And yeah, really came onto the scene in 2020 when he won Players Cup, and then won the Players Cup Invitational. Who we got for Santino?
Because it's funny, I feel like I have the last 2 flipped as to what you had.
Yeah, you got Jalen Brunson.
Like, I was gonna say, well, no, because I think Brunson's better, but like, he did kind of come out of nowhere to just win Players Cup, and pretty creative player too. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna take a minute to see if I can find someone better than Brunson, but yeah.
Michael, what do you think? You got anything off the top of your head?
I'm not gonna lie to you. outside of winning Players Cup, I don't know much about Santino.
Yeah. So I think the other notable thing that at least I think about Santino is that he's one of the best like early format team builders, like so consistently. He is like
Alex Silla's team.
The Players Cup team was like the first team. Was like no one was using Colossal at the time, right? And even though it was like just clearly one of the best things he could be doing, he figured out that. And then for the Players Cup Invitational, it was also the first tournament of Series 10, and he built a team that no one had really seen before with the Weavile, Rain type teams. And yeah, did a really good job of like basically like building a brand new meta team that no one was using and revolutionized the format as a result of it. So yeah, I think that's like what I think of when I think of Santino. But also I made the comparison for the Players Cup and the in-season tournament when I was talking about Wolf last video, and as a result, I have him as Tyrese Halliburton, where Tyrese was also is like also a superstar, like kind of, right? Like he's probably gonna be a superstar real soon. But his biggest accomplishment right now is getting to the finals of the in-season tournament. He doesn't really have a ton of accomplishments outside of that, and that's kind of similar to Santino's main accomplishments being in the Players Cup, which still very, very impressive. One of the most dominant runs I've ever seen, winning that Players Cup undefeated. But yeah, still is a Players Cup, not an in-person event. And then yeah, now we're gonna see, would he just have a couple special runs in the COVID era, or are we going to see more come out, more from this career as a blooming superstar? And that's why I like the Tyrese Halliburton comparison.
Okay, hear me out, right?
Yeah.
What if Players Cup was like a specific period in time, kind of like those 2 years of the Nets with D'Lo? Like maybe he's D'Lo, all-star D'Lo.
All right. I can see it. What happened? I have not thought about D'Lo at all. What is he still playing? What happened to him?
Yeah, he's still
What?
playing.
Lakers.
Is he on the Lakers right now?
Yeah.
That's probably why.
Yeah, he's on the Lakers.
Yeah, he's on.
Is he good?
Him and Austin Reeves are the third and fourth best player on the Lakers.
Okay, well, no wonder I haven't thought about him in ages. Yeah, what happened to this guy?
Hey, they're not that bad. They made the. I think the Lakers are solid. Not great.
It might be better this year. Like they've looked a little better in the preseason with under JJ Redick, so we'll see.
Okay, I'm excited about JJ, to be honest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If they can keep their like a comparable level of defense while evolving their offense a lot, like they could, have a resurgence year. Like I think Darvin Ham is not a good coach, and
yeah,
I think I have a lot more faith in JJ Redick.
I'm honestly not that worried about their defense. I think they can pull it together. They have very capable defenders, as long as LeBron's trying, which I still think he can. What's up?
They have okay defenders. They have AD, which is like a great anchor to a defense, but like their individual defenders are only okay. Like Austin Reeves is
like either ass or really good, but most of the time ass, I feel.
D'Lo is ass at defense, but he is a good communicator at least. So like that's like a big plus on defense, but like he like in terms of individual defense, he's not good. Austin
You
Reeves
just need
is
to
a
play
negative
team defense.
Right. I mean, Austin Reeves is also a negative on defense, so it's like LeBron and Rui are both pretty decent, but like I don't know. I
think LeBron's really good when he tries, and Rui's a big dude, so he just has to commit to the scheme. But yeah, it's like you just have to do enough. It does suck that you don't have any great perimeter guard like defenders.
Yeah,
it's actually really bad. Yeah, never mind. They're screwed.
What do you mean? You got Bronny James. He's gonna be the elite perimeter defender.
That's true. That's a huge pickup.
Yep.
All right. Moving on from Santino, we got 3 left. Next up, Patrick Connors, your North American International Champion. Who we got for Patrick Connors?
Dude, who is Patrick Connors?
Good question.
He just won NAIC out of nowhere.
Yeah, he had been to I think 2 or 3 events before that. He went A2 and bubbled Orlando regionals if I recall correctly. The year we had the big ass top 32 cut. I think he got top 64 at his other day 2. So he was like pretty consistent, but obviously like not a player who went to many events before NAIC. And then yeah, obviously popped off at NAIC. I think he made day 2. I forget if he top cut Louisville regionals as well. So been very, very consistent in the tournaments that he's played in, but just has not played a lot of Pokemon.
I think I know. I know yours is so good. We have to do yours.
Let me hear yours first. What you got?
I don't have one.
All right, fine. I'll do it. I said he's Jeremy Lin. Because he came out of nowhere and he did just like popped off out of absolutely nowhere. And I think that Linsanity felt a lot like I was in the crowd for NAIC, and it was this upstart out of nowhere, like who is this dude American competing against like one of the best European players and one of the best players in the world in Aurelien, and everyone was like, we are so done. Europe is gonna win this internet. They're never gonna let us live this shit down. But here he is. He won. A huge upset out of nowhere. I mean, it really, the energy in the crowd at that venue, it gives me Jeremy Lin vibes. The energy when Jeremy Lin came out of nowhere to be the superstar for the New York Knicks. We're gonna see how his career turns out. We're gonna see if he did better than if he does better than Jeremy Lin throughout the rest of his career. But certainly that first tournament just definitely gave me Linsanity vibes.
Yeah,
what about,
I mean,
like Boston
also
Isaiah Thomas?
to add to it a little bit, because like the context I guess behind the tournament was also like similar to where Lin was, or the Knicks and Lin were at. Like the Knicks at the time were in the dumpster. They were like 5 games under 500, I think, or like 6 or 7 games under 500, and nobody had any hope for them. And then similarly, NA was completely in the dumpster. We were, I think, I remember because me and Burns were like the only 2 players above like X2, like after round 12 or something like that. And like if Europe had won that event, it would have been a disaster. So, we were like despair. I think only 2 NA players made top 8, or no, I think it was 3 NA players made top 8 or something like that. But like we were not in a good spot going in, like at that event. And of course, if we had lost that championship, or like that IC to Europe, that would have meant that Europe swept all 3 of the internats that year. So of course that couldn't happen. Similarly, the Knicks, high expectation franchise, always they were, at the time completely in the dumpster. It was, and then out of nowhere, Lin came in. I still watch those Lin highlights from that Linsanity era because it's just so surreal. Of course, Lin Sandy was like a huge part of like Asian American culture at the time that it happened. And so, I still go back and watch it just because I think it's like so hype. And I think unfortunately for Lin, the rest of his career got derailed. A lot of it was due to injuries. He was a little bit also because of there was like a little bit of racism in the NBA. So, there's definitely some unfortunate things that happened to Lin later in his career. But
yeah, and then he got dreads.
He did do that.
He was like, "I'll do it back, huh?"
No, he had a quote. He clapped back at I think it was like Kenyon Martin or something like that. But like I think Kenyon Martin called him out or something, and then he clapped back and said something along the lines of like, it's like the same as like a black guy getting fucking like Chinese tattoos on their body or whatever. And it's like, I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, but that's also kind of weird, and also not the perfect analogy. Because one's cultural appropriation in like in a vacuum, right? Like, okay, I get it. You're not supposed to get the Chinese tattoos, right? Not your culture. But then the other one has like a history of slavery. But going back to what you were saying about Jeremy Lin being huge in the as an Asian American. See, I'm not even the right kind of Asian, but it was really big for me too because there's no Indians in the NBA. Okay. Similarly, Patrick Connors winning NAIC was really big for me as a big boy with long hair and glasses, and I was like, let's go. That's my guy, Patrick Connors. Bro is built, and it was so good that set. And honestly, just like a sweetheart story. I think Jeremy Lin also low-key didn't get any basketball scholarships, just got into Harvard and played on the team. I think it was something like that, right?
He was still recruited to Harvard. It was just no D1 scholarships, I think.
No D1 scholarship. Okay.
Yeah.
Harvard,
Yeah,
Ivy
and then
League
came in the
doesn't
league.
offer athletic scholarships. That's why. But yeah.
Oh.
No, legitimately, like there is it is so hard for me to feel emotion while watching VGC. And I was like,
Wow.
I was I was about to cry when I saw that set. I mean, it was with the whole storyline. They built it up so well with his parents driving up, and then
that was
CNA
so
versus
good.
EU. Like, God, it is legitimately like. Whenever I stop playing VGC, I think watching Patrick win NAIC will still be one of my favorite moments as a spectator in VGC, like ever. And I think that, yeah, it just there's so few moments in NBA that can compare to that, especially outside of like the Mavericks winning the championship, obviously, and Linsanity is one of those. So yeah. All
yeah,
right.
I mean, also, I just want to add because I played Patrick at that event, but like you know, like oftentimes when you're playing as a competitor, like when you see someone you don't really know, like you don't know what to think. But like Patrick also just was playing like super well. Like he was making like some very high level reads, and he's also just like super nice and nice guy and stuff. But like when Jeremy Lin was going through that Linsanity arc, like I think part of it was also that like at the beginning people were just not like they were just underestimating him. Like they were he did one thing really well during that run, which is he could drive, and drive the ball to his like, I think to the left. I want to say it was he could only drive one way basically. And if you could take that away from him, like he was like just okay, but then like nobody was respecting him at the beginning, and then eventually he just got confidence and like towards like the middle and end of Linsanity, he just kind of started evolving his game, which is like super impressive. But like yeah, at least at the beginning, it was definitely just like people were underestimating him.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on to Sempra Abdullah Mohayuddin. I hope I definitely probably didn't pronounce that right. All right. He
No,
of
that's
course.
pretty close.
All right. I'll take it. So he of course won the Vancouver Regional Championships, coming out of nowhere to win. I think his first regional that he attended. Back in 2023. With Sun. And then he also got top 8 at the World Championships that year. He most recently got top 4 in the Grand Challenge with Quackable. Yeah, just I think he's a Canadian dude. I think we all would say that he is one of the best players in North America right now, if not maybe the best player in North America right now. Just does not have the opportunity to travel to a ton of events, but every time he goes to an event, he is so incredibly good. Who we got for Sempra?
I've been saving my Canadian for him.
Yeah, who you got?
Yeah, no, it's he's also, I think he's really funny. I know Sempra is a friend. Abdullah's a really funny guy. He's young. I kind of view him as like a little brother, and I think like all of his friends too remind me of the youth of the OKC Thunder. Like I think that like you could even say Marcus Dion's a little J Will. Sure, why not? I think he's totally Shea.
Yep.
Yeah, the only other a Canadian I stan is Jamal Murray, of course, but not. Well, I guess the limited like playoff rising could be like he's not even playing in the regular season because Abdullah is like insanely good though. But so Shea has been incredible right now.
Yeah, in my notes, I have him as he's Canadian, and I think that they're both probably arguably the best North American player right now, both Shea in the NBA and Abdullah in VGC. Again, you could argue Joel Embiid is the other best American player, but yeah, I think you
Shea's better.
yeah, I mean, that's a really fair argument. Like I kind of agree. So yeah, no, I think that this is such a good comparison. Michael, anything to add?
Also, isn't
No notes.
sorry, go on, Michael.
I agree.
Go ahead, Raghav.
I was saying, so Embiid plays for Team USA. Where did he grow up? Was it Cameroon or was it
Cameroon? Yeah.
Cameroon, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then Shea's Canadian.
Shea's Canadian.
Okay.
All right.
Canadian plays for Team Canada, yeah.
We all agree. Yeah. So and then last but not least, we have Leonard Kraft, who posted on YouTube asking me to rate him. So I got him on the list as well at the very ending. This is our last one. And if you want to, I don't know, just it turns out if you comment on my videos, I am very inclined to include you in these conversations. That's all it takes. So we got Dewaba Fett. He got top 8 at US Nats in 2016. He is the mechanics guy. He has a YouTube channel where he tests mechanics on cart and then implements them on Pokemon Showdown. He's like the coder behind Pokemon Showdown. One of the head coders at Pokemon Showdown as well. Anyone got a good comparison for Leonard?
He's B-ball breakdown.
I got a comparison, but it's not a player. I'll say Daryl Morey. I think
holy shit, that's crazy.
He was like the Daryl Morey, like in the NBA, was basically the spearhead of the
analytics
and 3-point era, basically. Like, well, technically, like the Warriors started it, but like Daryl Morey was the one who really pushed it to the extreme. He built that like insane Rockets team, and in some senses, like you could say that Daryl Morey understood more about basketball than like anyone else at the time. And like Leonard is probably one of the people that understands Pokemon the best out of anyone in terms of just
Michael,
like from a.
What was the Rockets' downfall? How many threes did they miss in a row?
27.
Something like that. Was he ahead, or did it turn out to be?
Hey, I'm just saying that's not Morey's fault. It's just unlucky.
Unlucky.
It's
no,
just unlucky.
skill. We defended them so well.
It tactfully let him shoot 3-pointers that they would miss. We got by the way, Patrick, thank you for the sub. I really appreciate it. He says we got one more after this. We're gonna do Maddie Morgan. I can get to Maddie Morgan for sure. I gotta think about that one. But I had for Leonard, I had Taco Falls, who with his description, definitely tall, definitely can't shoot. So I think Taco Falls probably had some pretty similar statistics. Massive dude playing for the Celtics for a couple of years. I don't think he plays in the NBA anymore. But fun fact about Taco Falls, I had to look this up. He had a 4.0 GPA in high school. He got a computer science degree from UCF, and according to his Wikipedia page, he actually always wanted to be an engineer at one of the big tech companies, like a Microsoft. And so, instead, he turns out he grew really tall and became an NBA player instead. And I like to think that, maybe if Leonard also grew to be a little taller, maybe he'd be a mediocre NBA player instead of a mediocre VGC player, aspiring to be an engineer.
Whoa!
Sorry.
Whoa!
I got some good finishes, but
nah.
I think he's a better. I know you're just messing.
I'm just saying shit. It's late. For what it's worth, Leonard is a better VGC player than I am. I'm also a mediocre VGC player. So yeah. All right, Maddie Morgan. Let me pull up. Maddie Morgan.
Maddie's Irish, right?
Yeah. Maddie is an Irish VGC player who is a one-time regional champion, coming off of a win at Malmo regionals. A couple of 2023 Malmo regionals. He is also what did he win here? Zelda Challenge? It doesn't count. He has got second
at the most recent European regional, right?
Got second place at Dortmund regional. We see here a couple more top 16 finishes at 2024 Dortmund, at 2024 Toronto. I didn't know he was there. So and top 16 at the UIC. Also NPA champion. He was also on the puppies when we won NPA as well. And so awesome guy.
Nobody cares about NPA.
All right. Captain, fair. Yes, I agree. But captain of Team Ireland as well.
I'm not KD then. I'm even better.
Captain of the Irish team. Who we got for the Maddie Morgan?
I'm trying to think who. So I'm trying to connect like his set versus Amelia at Worlds with the DC. Was it him, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He beat. Oh, I forgot. He also got top 16 at top 8 at Worlds. Top 16 at Worlds. After top 8 at Worlds after beating Emilio in with the DC. So
like who's the lucky? What's the luck there? The circumstance.
What's the luck there? Is anyone had something similar? Because that is probably the biggest moment other than winning.
It has to be the Kawhi getting injured against the Warriors, right? Like, because we were saying Amelia was Kawhi.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, but then that makes him a warrior player. What is he like? Is he Clay?
I guess
I mean, he
it
got
does.
pretty hot randomly.
It doesn't work that well.
It does make a lot of sense because that is like a big moment, right? But the Raptors
Huge
won that
moment.
year, right? Like,
No.
which injury are we talking about?
No. It was the Spurs injury in
2017.
2017, 2018. It would be like a Zaza Pachulia, but like it's
Imagine
not
that.
quite. That's like a little bit too mean spirited in the sense that like he didn't force disconnect. You know what I mean?
Oh, that
So,
too. Yeah.
All right, let me look up the 2017 Warriors.
Yeah, I have my own feelings
roster.
about it, but
because the thing is like, yeah, I guess Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, but he's too nice to be Draymond Green, right? And then he's not really he's not really. I guess he could be Klay Thompson. I guess that's like a reasonable one, right?
well, okay, so right. So just to explain the context behind this, so in 2017, the Spurs were really really good, or maybe it was 2016. I don't remember exactly, but the Spurs were really really good, and they were, I think, 1-0 up in the series against the Warriors in the conference finals, and then yeah, Kawhi went up for a 3-pointer, and then Zaza basically stood underneath him, and he injured him like somewhat intentionally, it seemed, and that's why we have the landing space rule. If you're curious why that exists in the NBA, it's because of that moment. So it's a foul now if you get in somebody's landing space because of that injury.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Spurs went on to lose that series because Kawhi was injured, of course, and then the whole fallout with the Spurs and Kawhi happened after that.
Right. Oh yeah, this is the moment that led to the fallout between Kawhi and the Spurs. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
This is the moment that got Emilio to quit VGC for temporarily until the next time he quit VGC.
Exactly.
Okay. I see it. In that case, I think Bruno has it nailed. I think he's Iggy, right? He's Iguodala. I think that's the right caliber of player.
Iguodala.
Right?
Yeah, Iguodala could work for sure.
Andre
Iggy's super underrated. Well, I don't know.
Iggy was really good back on the oh man, who did he play for? The Sixers? Yeah, he was so good on the Sixers. And then never really had quite the accolades. And then of course got a lot more recognition as the incredible, like, the glue guy on the Warriors. One of the glue guys. They had so many good role players on that team. But yeah, 4-time NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP. He was only a one-time All-Star. Damn, that is kind of crazy. I thought he definitely had more
one
than
time on the Sixers. Yeah, but he was a good player. I think he didn't get a lot of All-Star nods because the Sixers were very bad during those eras. Like they were like a fringe playoff team in an era where the East was very weak. So like, even though he was a good player, it was not really his fault. So
he's also just been a sixth man his entire career. Well, no,
he was after he left the Sixers, basically. Actually, he was still like, I think he was one of the best players on the.
I was looking at
teams.
something else. My bad.
on those Nuggets teams. Yeah. I think in the Nuggets teams, it was him and AI, I think, where they were like a solid like 60, I want to say, during those years or whatever, like a low seed in the West, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. On the Warriors, he was definitely super important for our defense.
Yeah, for sure.
Super good at like steals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just like our sixth man. Yeah. Love Iggy. I could see Iggy for sure.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, I wanted to say, did you guys know that Boban was on that Spurs team? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
I think I vaguely remember that.
He's 290 pounds. Holy shit.
Boban's a beast.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I'm upset I didn't think of the Boban Waka comparison, because they really was the perfect comparison for Waka.
It would have been a good comparison.
Like Waka World Tour and Boban being like in John Wick is like it's really good.
Yeah, that would
the Boban podcast. Yeah. All right. So that is all the players that I had. Like I mentioned, if you subscribe and you request someone, then we can get to it. But you got maybe 2 minutes, because we are going to be wrapping up. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. And now I had an absolute blast doing this with you guys. Thank you both for coming by and for taking part in part 2.
Yeah, of course.
Always happy
Yeah.
to chat.
Yeah, like I said, in part 1, me and Michael and Nick and a few other people at Worlds were literally just doing this for like literally hours on end in Hawaii. Did we do Ashton? We did do Ashton. And speaking of that, if you missed any of this, you can check it out on YouTube. I'll put it up tomorrow. And so you can go ahead and watch the entire thing on YouTube. And hopefully, if you are, for some reason, didn't watch part 1, you should definitely watch part 1 as well. That was already out on YouTube. So yeah, definitely check that out. Thank you all for tuning in. I don't see any last minute subscribers, and so I'm going to send you guys over on a raid to who's streaming right now. Who we raiding? Pengy.
Master
We got Pengy is streaming. Pengy is not playing Pokemon. He is playing TCG Card Shop Simulator. Maybe trying to leave playing VGC. We'll send you over to Pengy. We weren't really playing VGC either, so it's only fair.
Fair enough.
That's true.
So go say hi to Pengy. Let him know where you came from. Who do you think, in chat, quickly, ask Pengy who you think he is as an NBA player. Wait, quickly. Michael, Raghav, who is Pengy? Which VGC player is Pengy?
Oh, Jeff Teague.
I thought I was Jeff Teague.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm the Pengy of VGC. Yeah.
Dude, I can't think of.
I have no idea.
It's similar, right? He's also a content creator.
Dude.
He's also a personality. We got a Kamihata.
Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr. Hopefully.
He's got a podcast.
Kamihata, I thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it. If you've got a recommendation, we do have you got about a minute to fire it off before we end the stream.
I will leave if you don't type in like 8 seconds.
It's funny. We're all just doing Jeff Teague for all the podcasters. It's true. It works.
He's good.
Jeff Teague, JJ Redick, all the same. I put myself as JJ Redick last time. But Adi,
I think JJ is also good.
I think JJ fits you a little better, yeah.
In that case, yeah, I think Pengy gets the Jeff Teague nod.
Who's Kunal?
Who's Kunal? Basketball player who doesn't really play basketball, but talks about basketball all the time.
Gilbert Arenas, bro. He's the modern day Gilbert Arenas. not when he played. Now.
And all is Skip Bayless, bro.
Skip Bayless, yeah, that's it, dude. He's like, he's the Shannon Sharp of the NBA, because he didn't actually play in the NBA, but he acts like he played in the NBA.
Oh, dude, that's so true.
Now let's skip I'm Shannon in that conversation.
All right, thank you guys for tuning in. This is a lot of fun. I'm gonna send you guys over to Pengy. Make sure to ask Pengy which NBA player you think he is in his chat. Give Pengy Markkinen. You know what? You'll have to recommend that to him.